Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner and I'm here with Big Gun Matt Murray.
Hello.
Sean Bell.
Hello.
And he's back on the podcast. It's James Farley.
Hello, David.
Or should we say bonjour, James?
Steady on that.
James, you're giving away where you've moved to.
I'm not. I'm not saying anything.
You clearly moved to Buckingham Palace. Jesus, where are you?
Well, look, it's okay. I knew this was going to be a problem because it is a bit echoey, isn't it?
When I bought a 14th century chateau, I thought this is going to be a problem for the podcast.
Can I just say it's technically Reverb, not Echo, but carry on.
Okay.
Oh, shut up.
Well, there's reverb going all over the walls at the moment.
Yes.
Is the problem?
Jesus.
Was this like what it was like when you were doing your thing at uni, Sean? Was
Yep.
it a little bit like this? There's reverb going all over the walls at the moment.
I actually
I'll be
wrote my
honest with you.
dissertation on Reverb going all over the walls.
Yeah.
And this podcast is probably getting called Reverb on the Walls. So I mean, it all works out at the end, doesn't it? James, why? You know all that flat pack furniture you bought?
Yeah.
You should have built that, mate. It would have soaked up some of that that reverb.
Well, I've built some of it. It's just that I've had to do it in stages because, I think there was beds and stuff were more important than where I'm doing the podcast from. So
You say that, but you built the sofa first.
I know, I wanted to sit down. I was knackered.
No, David. No, he set up his consoles first.
That's true, actually.
He certainly did. What was it? After you sent us photos of your children sleeping on a sleeping bag on a wooden floor, you then sent us your internet connection and how much better it was.
I was so excited, honestly. I was so excited when I saw the result of that. It was brilliant.
James, how was the move? How are you doing? How are you holding up?
It's all right. It's tiring, but it's all right. We're getting through it. It's just, the trick is to like, get everything into perspective and not go mad. It's going fine so far.
What do you mean? What does that mean?
Well, no, because there's a lot of things to do. Because obviously I've moved to like another country, and it's like there's lots of paperwork to deal with, and it's just a bit of a nightmare. And now the echoing is really, really bothering me. Because the
Reverberation. Thank you.
The reverberation is really bothering me.
It's really bothering you. You wait until next week's feedback, mate. I mean, it's going to be quite intense. What are you going to do? You're going to get some egg cups. Whack them
definitely.
on the wall. Are you ready for next thing?
All
you could have got
over the
one of
living
those.
room, yeah.
You seen one of those stand-up studios that you can get, where you zip it up around your head.
Yeah.
They look horrific, don't they?
Or James, just put a
absolutely
duvet.
awful.
Just put a duvet cover over your head now and create a mini studio.
Yeah,
I'm not
put a
doing
duvet
that.
cover over your head.
It'd be too hot. I'm not doing that.
Oh, James, you've got to put some effort into the art. You've not been here for 2 weeks. Come on, you've got to put the effort in.
I'm not doing that.
Okay.
It's too much.
Right, well, we'll start the show by announcing our Patreon producers for this month. They are the Full Nels Crew: Aaron Patrick, Simon Nelson, Tom S., Jack Oven, Moomin Biscuit, Dave Ernsberger, Colin Brown, Gazman, Gabby Pereira, Graham Mackay, Rocketman76, My Dog Skip, Rex Reese, Jonathan Edwards, and Happy Birthday, Sam. Love from Neil, a.k.a... What was that? Bitch and Sink. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. But happy birthday, Sam.
Yeah.
Someone has gone full Nels to wish you a happy birthday. I think that's how it works, isn't it? It's not... The full Nels membership isn't a gift. That person has gone full Nels.
Yeah, because the
to
email
say
address,
happy birthday.
not to dox them or anything, but the email address had the name Neil in it. So I don't think so. This hasn't been
Narrowed
gifted.
it down.
I mean, is Neil going to pass on the benefits of being a full
I
Nels
hope he
member? Or is
doesn't.
it just...
I don't think that's legal, but
No, I will be calling the police, Neil. So, and we know where your account's been. We can check up. We can't, but I will check IP addresses. Do not, Neil. If I find out you've sent Sam any of the podcasts, I'll be livid.
Listen, well, no, he can if he doesn't listen to him himself, right? That works.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
yes.
know.
One listen only. Yeah, good point. Yeah.
yeah.
yeah. Well, maybe we need to look at it as
Or if
like
you
those
do
old
listen,
Nintendo
yeah.
DS demos that you could get that were like,
I mean,
To our maximum.
We need to get Matt. Matt, you need to get sorted on some DRM for this stuff. it's
I'm tempted
important.
now.
It's true.
I mean, thank you, Neil, for bringing it to our attention. Yeah.
Well, I was just thinking, do you think Neil... There's a good chance that Neil doesn't actually listen to the show, right? It's probably just like, oh, my mate Sam, he keeps banging on about this fucking podcast. So I thought it'd be nice if I give him a shout out.
Instantly regretting it. Also, I had this thought today, right?
Yeah.
Say it's Sam's birthday when this show comes out, which is what?
Happy birthday, Sam.
The 8th? The 8th of September. Firstly, happy birthday. But you've got a month of us wishing you happy birthday. Like, by the time the end of the month is up, you're going to be like, that was ages ago.
But even worse, what if his birthday's at the end of the month and he's already had 4 weeks of us wishing him he'd be fucking sick of it by the time his actual birthday rolls
around. That's all right. That's a proper build-up, That's good. We can build up to his birthday. Sam, get in touch. Let me know what when your birthday is. I also feel terribly sorry for Jonathan Edwards here because another new Full Nels member, and we've barely spoken. Like, we've banged on about Sam's birthday for too long. So,
well, we love you. It's kind of Jonathan's fault. I mean, have a birthday. What can we do?
Yeah, exactly. But no, everyone that supports us at the Full Nels tier, we are forever grateful. You're keeping the show alive, and anyone that supports us on Patreon, if you would like to join the team that is keeping this show afloat, then please go to patreon.com/TCGS and look at the various different tiers, see what you like, see what's on offer, and sign up. We really do appreciate it. And a few more, yeah, and we can all live in a big palace, can't we? Eh? Not just James. We can all get that palace life.
It's Reverb.
It's not a palace. James, you've not been on a show for 2 weeks now. You must have so many notes. Let's hear them. What did you think?
That's the thing. I listened to both shows, and Matt, I don't know what your problem is with Sarah. I thought she was great. I don't know what
she was. Well, you have feedback. You're going to be eating your words.
I've got a feeling Matt has been using our contact form, but go on, let's go.
Don't need to.
But no, honestly, I haven't really got any notes this time round because I've been super busy, and I just enjoyed listening to the show. It was great.
Okay. Yeah. Well, okay.
I mean, I was disappointed. I was a bit disappointed that you didn't talk about the China story last week. But apart from that, it was all really good.
What was the China story?
Yeah, the one about the restrictions on children being able to play video games.
Well, we wanted to save it, didn't we?
I did not hear about this.
What are we going to say about that, James? We don't know, do we?
We're going to say it's a pity James isn't here. Well, guess we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing about it this week.
Yeah.
So that's it. You didn't take any notes, did you?
I
mean, you can say,
I've been
enjoyed
moving house and it's been awful and it's been very intense like the last couple of weeks. And I've got a reverb now going on, which is making me feel really, really self-conscious. And it's just...
For the listeners at home, every time James goes out of his way to say reverb, I want you to imagine me just giving him a thumbs up and a wink.
Also, James, maybe if you did only, like, say, 5 internet speed tests a day rather than 25, you could have fit some notes in, I think. You could have tapped them up. You know what I mean?
I was doing it in every room of the place. Honestly, like
I'm sorry, what? Well, I mean, like, moving is romantic.
Yeah. Can you imagine that? Oh, we're going to christen every room. Oh, really, James? Yeah, by going onto the speed test and checking the download
wow,
speeds.
It's so big.
Seriously, it blew my mind. Honestly, like I was down.
Steady.
Downloading stuff from internet. It was just amazing.
Stuff. Yeah, we don't need to know what the
what stuff there, James. What we downloaded from the internet,
updates and that. It's
the updates. Yeah. Don't worry about our data cap. I've spent it all on updates. Yeah. Right, should we get to feedback from the listeners? They all loved it last week, did they, Matt?
Well, funny you should say that, actually. I mean, I'm just a messenger. Just want to say that. Mr. Anti-Hooker. Now, Anti-Hooker.
No, and hooker, as in...
Yeah, I know that, but I'm reading it like, this
You're
is...
wondering if it's a...
Sean.
Yeah.
Can I give you a bit of advice?
Yeah.
Next time, just let him hang on it. Just let him hang on it for just a good 12 seconds because it'll break his brain.
Okay.
Good. Cheers.
So continue, it's written anti-HOOKAH.
Yeah.
Hookah. No, whatever.
No, hookah. Do you know what a hookah is?
No.
Dave, you're probably more equipped to explain than I am.
I have no idea either, Sean. You're looking at the wrong man here.
It's like a shisha pipe. Do you know what a shisha pipe is?
I know what shisha pipe is.
Well, it's like one of those then, Matt.
Oh, okay, cool. Well,
let's go.
Yeah. Love the pod, guys, but please, would we be able to avoid taking hits on your electronic vape sticks when recording? That sound to others can be like nails down a chalkboard. I typically listen when walking the dog using earbuds, so the inhale noise sounds like a tiny, wheezy Darth Vader deep into my ear, which had me wincing. Please and thanks, y'all. We've got a few of these, so I'll just... Alicia Keys, thank you for listening, Alicia. Feedback, who's doing those fat vape rips throughout the podcast last week? My money is on Sarah. Okay. Hang on. Signor Patula. What a wonderful phrase. No. 4 marks to Matt Murray on the editing of last week's podcast.
You know, I'm loving this. Just the suspicion that every night.
Because the one that I don't suspect is the one they're like, either bigger. No, that's fine. We'll move on. 4 marks.
Dover. Eileen Dover.
I'll say it again. 4 marks to Matt Murray on the editing of last week's podcast. I particularly admire the sound quality he managed to get on the sound of Dave vaping. Bonus points to Dave for apparently managing to vape while he himself was speaking. Please let us know which orifice he was using to vape while speaking. We did have some feedback, clearly, as you've just heard, and in the Discord about the vape. It is upsetting. I looked at the audio, and it doesn't give me any pleasure at all to say it was Sarah who was doing the vaping.
I said it earlier. I'm going to say it again. I'm almost certain that Matt has put these in. Like, I'm almost certain. Yeah. I reckon he's pushed these through, and
we need to isolate the noises in last week's episode, and then we need to cross-reference it with like a free sound library of vape rips.
And just like, to do that, Sean.
He knows what a hookah is. He knows what that is, and he's just, what is it? What is it? Well, you know what it is, Matt, because you sent that message in. No one complained. No one cared.
It's true,
just Matt trying to.
He loves Alicia Keys as well, so we know.
She's one of the greatest artists of 20th and 21st century, or whatever. It doesn't matter. Anyway, I get it. It is sad that Sarah probably won't be on again because of this. You don't. You do not go on to one of Britain's best podcasts and then do a massive vape. It's just. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for listeners. I'm sorry to listeners. And I'm sure Sarah had some fans, but it's just you can't do it, can you? I'm not at this level.
But at the same time, you can't make a decision like that. You're in terms of.
I haven't. I think the listeners have. It's fine. I'm just a mouthpiece for the listeners in this regard. So no,
are you?
We get the message, everyone, loud and clear. I will. I'll make sure she will not be on this podcast again. Not as far. Not as long as I live.
We'll talk about that offer. I will say it's not as long as you live. Really, you're gonna devote your life to making sure this doesn't happen again. Are you really that? Just because she mugged you off the first time she come on, like proper mugged you off, and then again to the point where I thought my head was going to burst last week when she was talking about your socials bit. Are you really that bitter about it, Matt?
No, I'm not bitter. I'm just trying to ensure we have a high quality podcast. And when someone is ripping, it's really hard to say ripping a vape.
But right now, it sounds like he's in a fucking cave.
Come on, it's not my fault. I didn't know that this was going to happen, did I? It's not my fault.
You didn't know we were recording tonight, James? No.
I knew we were recording tonight. I didn't know it was going to be as bad as this, did I? I'm not.
2 weeks to 2 weeks to prepare. Oh, is it particularly bad? The reverb tonight, is that the problem?
I'll tell you what, it's better if anything. It was worse a couple of days ago when there was literally nothing in the
window. That helped.
You knew this was an issue.
No, I didn't know it was going to be this much of an issue. I thought. It's probably also the way I'm sitting. I think isn't helping.
Oh right. Well, maybe uncross your legs. Let's do it before and after. Come on, James.
Well, okay.
What do you mean? Are you sitting one side of the room and the microphone's on the complete opposite side? Is that
you're in the garden shouting for a window?
I trust you with this because you know about reverbs and echoes and stuff, right?
Thank you. Yes.
If you were going to sit somewhere, would it right in the middle of the room probably be the worst place?
Yeah.
Okay, well there you go. That's probably not helping.
Just to check, is the microphone pointing the right way?
It is, yeah. It's
Okay,
right
just
next to me,
check.
yeah.
No, James, can you see the microphone?
I can't, Matt. No, I'm sorry.
There's no need to call me that.
Okay, all right. One more dig at you here, James. Sorry, one more dig. You knew we were recording tonight, right? I said it massively helps if you put it on a boom arm and it holds the microphone right up to your face. You could turn the gain down. It will get rid of, a lot of, not all of it, but some of the reverb in the background. And you said my boom arm's still packed.
It is, yeah.
Why didn't you unpack it?
Because it's right at the bottom of all the other boxes.
I mean, boxes are movable.
James, is every one of your boxes in one massive, pile? Is it into the sky? It's just one massive
No, it's
column
insane,
of boxes.
seriously. And I felt really bad for because I don't want to get into this. This is ridiculous.
No, go on.
No, because I've got books, obviously, like quite a lot of books.
Show off.
No, because of the work stuff.
He reads one a week, man.
I read.
But they're very, very heavy. And, getting those... I mean, I live on the 4th floor. Getting those up the stairs was not fun at all.
Okay, fine. What's that got to do with taking your boom arm out of one of the boxes?
It's underneath all the books, and I don't want to move the books because I hurt my back earlier.
What? You packed your boom arm at the bottom of a box and then put books all over the top of it?
No, it's done. The boxes with the books in are on top of one of the boxes that's got the boom arm in it.
I mean, move the box. What are you talking about?
Really
this is
heavy.
Have you heard of Kindle, James?
Hasn't it? Wait, surely a box full of books is heavier than whatever you've got in that box with the boom arm in.
Yeah, but there's other stuff
surely
as well.
It's just crushed now.
No, there's other stuff as well. It's fine. There's a keyboard.
No, there's other stuff in with the boom arm, Dave, like eggs and glass.
No, there's an electronic keyboard there. So that's all right.
What?
There's a keyboard.
I beg your pardon?
Musical keyboard.
Like a musical keyboard?
Casio tone.
You're playing that next week.
No, I don't play. It's not me. It's Chen. She plays.
I don't
care. You're playing it. You're going to look right to make up for your audio from this week. You're going to learn a song this week and play it on next week's podcast.
You should play the theme. You should play the regular show theme. But
please, come on. You could replace the regular show theme with you attempting to try and play it. How long do you reckon you could learn that in?
I don't know. I mean, I could give it a go. Maybe it's maybe possible.
I mean, to be absolutely clear, it doesn't have to be good, right? Because it's funnier if it's not.
Sean, come on,
it's like shitty flute. Isn't it?
Could you imagine if it's brilliant? I actually want him to be good at this. How long should we give you to do this?
I'd need a couple of weeks probably. I mean, I've got to unpack it first. I mean, that's
right.
That's
Okay,
the problem.
2 weeks. Yeah, of course. Those books ain't moving on their own, are they? 2 weeks. You've got 2 weeks to try and learn and play our theme tune on that Casio keyboard. Yeah.
Can I do it with one finger?
What are you talking about? You could use as many fingers as you want. You could use one. I'm not going to.
We're not going to check. I mean,
James, I'm afraid you've failed the task because you only used one of your fingers.
Yeah, distinctly one
finger. You can use one finger, but you've also got to use your penis for the last note.
I'm not doing
that. What about that?
I'm not doing that.
Okay, that's a shame. Well, I tried. Okay, 2 weeks.
Oh, James, there's the opportunity for a fucking great joke. Where you just play the entire theme and then it's just a dung at the
end. Okay, that's it. To make up for the terrible audio this week, we'll stop going on about it on this show. We won't mention it again next show. And seriously, if you're about to email in about it and all of that and how bad the reverb is, then don't. Let's let James have this week off. We're not going to dig him out because in 2 weeks' time, he's going to play the theme tune to this show on his Casio keyboard. I mean, you can't ask for better than that, can you? That's entertainment, people. That's entertainment.
Is that going to delay getting the mic arm out of the box? If you focus
on it's in the same box. He just said it's in the same box, Matt.
Okay, but I'm just concerned about how heavy it is and. Back.
Okay, right. And look, we said we're not going to dig him out anymore. He's promised us this. He's got a free pass this week. All right. Come on then. Let's go on to the next bit of feedback.
Started out about us criticising Sarah's recording, and look how it's all turned to.
Funny how that happens, isn't it? Every single time. It's just,
Come on then. Right, next bit of feedback.
So it's basically Sarah's never come on this podcast ever again. Ian Gawler Collins, feedback, Psychonauts.
Until Matt dies, just to be clear.
Well, yeah, until I die.
Once Matt's dead.
There you go.
listeners, do with that information what you will.
That'd be great, wouldn't it? It's like not announced that we've got like a guest, and it's like, oh yeah, so on the show this week, Sarah's here. There's no Matt because he is dead, but
Matt dead
because obviously there's no other way Sarah would be allowed on the show.
Okay. Ian Gawler Collins, feedback about Psychonauts 2. Completely agree with the love shown about this great game, and I can't believe I finished it before you guys got to talk about it. It felt like a really short experience, but I've just checked my playtime, and it appears that I managed to spend 32 hours in there. I just couldn't stop playing. I've been making full use of Game Pass, as I, at various points, played on PC, phone, tablet, and Xbox One S. All of them played really well, and but the figure was a little bit tricky on the phone. I think I know the bit Sean talked about where a seeming side mission turned into a, dare I say, psychedelic visual feast, and I had exactly the same reaction. The variation between the levels was amazing, and the way you could go inside an object.
That is an incomplete sentence. So
yeah, the way you could something inside an object and find yourself in a vast new area had me stepping in and out for minutes at a time just to see if I could spot a transition. Enough dribbling. I just spotted that Psychonauts Rhombus of Ruin is £3.87 on the PlayStation Store, so I think I'll get one more use out of PSVR before I set it on. P.S. There's no K in my surname, Matt. I think I might have mistyped it on last week, though, I suppose, so I could let you off. Yeah, I think I probably did call you Ian
They've spelled your name M-A-T-T when trying to correct you.
Yeah, I saw that. I was just trying to rise above it.
Glass houses, Ian.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. Thanks a bunch.
Yeah, but someone made a point to me. That might not have been Ian's fault. I think you made that point, didn't you, Sean? That it might be the sub-editor just going, nah, there's another T in that. Yeah. I'd love to know. We'll have to ask him.
I mean, whatever happens, I demand a full and frank apology in the next retro game. So, yeah.
I mean, if you don't know what we're talking about, Ian Lee wrote an incredible, just a really nice article about us in the latest episode of Retro Gamer. So if you've got that magazine or you fancy picking it up, look for his column in there. It was lovely. But Matt was spelt with 2 T's. And poor Matt, you've not had much luck with Retro Gamer, have you? Do you remember the time there was a photo of me, Andy Hamilton, and Barry and Big Boy Barry in a photo, and you could just see your shoulder where they cropped you out of it?
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that. And since that day, I've just, been on a one-man crusade against Retro Gamer.
Is this why you've got the insecurity about your arms, Matt?
I'm sorry, what?
Because that was all that was featured in Retro Gamer, and this is why you.
Yeah, I mean, when just your arms are featured in one of what was apparently Britain's best retro magazines, I think it's an absolute pile of wank. But it kind of makes you think, hang on, I need to get to the gym, but also just destroy this magazine anywhere I can. So, there you go. We've got more.
I mean, so just quickly on Psychonauts, and we're going to be talking about that later. But while it's in my head, there's a bit in that game. When we were talking about Ratchet and Clank and how good it was when you were going from dimension to dimension, and it was like, whoa, this is because it's loading so fast, it can do this stuff. Psychonauts 2 does that. It just does it in a different way, I assume. But
it's incredible,
it does exactly
isn't it?
That.
Just loads of little sort of TARDIS moments, isn't there, where you're just stepping, like you can see through a doorway. There's like a whole other world on the other side. Yeah, and you can pan the cat, and it's just
Yeah, but graphically, really you can't really compare them. I mean, even though we said Psychonauts 2 doesn't look lovely.
What's that got to do with anything?
Well, because there's it's like Ratchet and Clank looks amazing, so there's going to be a lot more stuff to have to.
But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the fact that there was this big thing made about how great it is that you could load in other bits of level on the fly to create this changing dimension effect. But but Psychonauts does exactly that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, if the whole idea is it's so impressive because look how good these levels look, the detail and whatnot, and then
that's a different thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's something completely different. We're talking about the technique of the SSD being able to go from dimension to dimension. And I thought, well, can't you do that anyway? I mean, what's the difference between that and what you do with Portal? And all right, I suppose it is in the same play space. But then when you look at Psychonauts 2, it does exactly that. Exactly the same thing.
It does do that, but it's not doing it to the same level of fidelity, is it? So
that's
what I'm thinking the SSD is probably doing, because it's loading in so much with all the detail.
Let's move on. Okay,
we've got more Psychonauts 2, actually. Ryan Haman. On your Psychonauts 2 discussion, the game's mental connections creating or reversing behavioural changes in a person, like gambling compulsion, is actually a pretty helpful way to look at cognition. In therapeutic terms, unwanted behaviours are often a side effect of adaptive responses to a situation gone too far. For example, inability to form close relationships is often caused by previously adaptive need to protect yourself from unsupportive or unpredictable people close to you earlier in life. We learn behavioural patterns and continue playing out the familiar patterns even after they stop being useful or start becoming harmful. Part of the therapeutic work comes from giving people insight into where these behaviours come from, challenging the root assumptions that blossom into maladaptive personality traits. It's much more effective to unlock the self-awareness that I behave this way because I associated such and such with danger, pleasure, security, etc., rather than just telling a person don't do that anymore. Psychonauts' mental connections do a great job of boiling down complex actions into simple root assumptions and showing how learned connections can have unintended consequences in the complexity of human life. Oversimplification, yes, but a useful way to visualize a complex process. Background: my love for the first Psychonauts inspired me to study clinical psychology in my graduate studies. I have my master's in clinical psych. Thank you, Ryan. That's really interesting.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Thank you.
Didn't understand a word of it.
I think basically Ryan's like a good game in it.
Yep.
My brain doesn't work at that level. Whenever I hear someone talking like that so profoundly about something so complex, I'm sitting there thinking of that. Look, you know that video with the seal turning around and around, and it's going do 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 do, and I think of that video and I smile. That's how my brain works.
Everyone's happy. This is from I tried to have James back, but I fucked it. I'm sorry, James. I tried to have your back while you were off, but I royally fucked it by typing the wrong timestamp down when I messaged in last week about Sean digging you out again while you were off the show. The actual Sean dig was 41 minutes 10 seconds, episode 256. The moment's probably been and gone, but I wanted to apologise to James for messing it up, and I feel utterly embarrassed and ashamed of myself when listening to the show last week. Please don't throw me out of the official James Farley fan club. Kind regards, a James Farley fan.
I mean, I've got it lined up. Do you want to listen to it now?
Let's go.
I don't remember any
Second
of this.
attempt.
Go on.
So, a dig towards James from Sean on episode 266, Anti-Clever, at the 41 minutes and 10 second mark. Here we go. Ready?
I mean, if I go full Farley, I'll just deny ever saying it.
Yeah, good point.
Okay, yeah, that was a pretty nasty dig there. James, any comments on that?
How's that nasty? We talk about that all the time.
If I wanted to go full Farley, I would just deny ever saying
Yeah, James always does that.
Actually, not nasty. I meant funny.
No, it's okay. That is true. I do sometimes do that, but it's because I'm denying it from a certain point of view. That's what it's all about. I didn't say it from a certain point of view, is what I usually mean.
You're going down the Obi-Wan defense side.
Absolutely,
I could do this now. Listen to this. I could do this. I could do Star Wars things.
Such a fucking nerd.
What a
I
world.
presume you're going down the Obi-Wan route, are you, James?
Yeah, that's me. That's me, boy. That's my new lease of life. I'm a Star Wars guy. Okay, well, let's go.
We're going to end with Simon Nelson. Who, just checking, probably the worst Full Nelson member there is, but we'll go onto the email. On the planet.
No.
Simon Nelson, hi everyone.
People, Matt. This is not right.
Look,
especially paying customers.
I've never liked him. Let's move. I'll read the email.
Okay.
From the moment.
So Matt so far has attacked a Full Nels member, a publication, and one of the presenters of this show. So what's going on, Matt? Are you all right?
Let's read the message. Hi, everyone.
Okay.
I just wanted to give some feedback regarding Matt's description of his trip to Legoland, as the way Matt described his trip made me wonder whether he actually went at all.
Oh, interesting.
See what I mean? This is my problem, Simon.
Can you go and get your Columbo outfit? please. Because have you said? Oh, it's probably packed under some fucking
he'd love
books.
to,
Innit?
but it's
Forget it.
loads of books.
Forget it.
But the Columbo outfit is definitely still above the mic arm somehow. Okay, Simon continues. Being an annual pass holder, I'm very familiar with the theme park and its rides, such as the Haunted House Monster Party. In the last podcast recording, Matt said you walk around a haunted house, when in fact, you don't walk around the house at all. After queuing, you simply head up some stairs for a minute, while Lego Dracula speaks to you, then you take a seat for the ride. He made it sound like a scary haunted house, and I worried that Sean in particular might avoid it, when it's actually a really harmless family fun. Was the queue too long? And so he guessed from the outside what happened, like the end of a certain night in the woods. Did he even go in at all? At least that would explain why he didn't pay David a visit. So many questions. Anyway, love you guys. Keep up the amazing work. P.S. Sorry, Matt. What's 2 out now, Simon? Well, I mean, so
you didn't go to Wilco Big Blocks Land by mistake, did you?
I think he went, but I think he does theme parks the same way he does video games. He just
he skips most of it.
Blasts through them, uses them watch them where necessary. No details remembered. Just crack on.
Yeah, come on, let's go on the Wilco Blocks car ride. It's all slightly off.
Was it Largo Land you went to?
I mean, same joke, just different.
Yeah, similar, but not as good.
Largo's a real brand, actually, though. It's a China knockoff brand.
Still,
couldn't make it any different. The Reverb, James. Right, so it's called Haunted House Monster Party. So you answered your own question there, Simon. I mean, you go up some stairs. It looks like a haunted house. What's like a haunted castle, or whatever it is. It's all like, ooh, you go into this room where it looks like a kind of haunted castle thing, and then they explain what's happening. You go into the room, you have like the weird ride that makes you feel like going up and down the walls, even though you're not. Done. That to me is like, it's a haunted house monster party. That's what it's fucking called.
Okay, that's fine.
Anyway, so I have been. Right, ask me anything you want about Legoland. I'll answer it. I've definitely been.
I will.
So, go on.
Do any of those fuckers fly out of the fucking wall and do a massive cum shot?
They don't. I didn't do that in the Haunted House Monster Party.
Okay, all right, gotcha. That would be inappropriate.
That is it for feedback, though. If you want to leave us feedback, you can go to tcgs.co/deartcgs.
What's that smell? Oh, the news goblin's back. That's what that stinks of. And what's that sound? Is that Reverb? Yes, it is. The news goblin is doing the news from a cave. James Farley.
That's right. I'm trying to get closer to the microphone. So does that sound any better? No?
I don't know, actually. I mean, you keep saying this like we'll be able to hear it, but you remember you're recording locally, so fuck knows what that's going to sound like.
Oh, it's going to be amazing, Dave. I'm looking forward to hearing it. Anyway.
Okay, let's get on with the news.
You don't listen to the show, so doing matter.
So, anyway, the first story I've got for this week is that Paradox, which is the developer of Crusader Kings, has also been accused of bullying and gender discrimination. So this is from a Swedish publication called Break It, which was reported via gamesindustry.biz, and it reported that there was a union-led employee survey that was conducted in August that found that half of the 133 staff who participated had experienced mistreatment. So according to the survey, it showed that the problems were mainly about bullying and gender discrimination and were worse for women, with 69% of women who responded said that they had experienced mistreatment, and it was 33% for men. So the results of the survey were then presented to Paradox's HR manager and also then to the CEO, Eva Lungerud, before the staff were told what had happened. But then on the same day, which was the 1st of September, they announced that she had, Lungerud had stepped down as the CEO due to differing views on the company's strategy going forward, with the former CEO, Frederick Wester, became in charge again. But then Wester said that there was nothing, the survey had nothing to do at all with Lungerud's exit, which is strange. But
hard to believe, isn't it? It's
yeah, it's
really,
a bit odd.
really odd. I mean,
what does that mean? Leaving because of directions that the company's got? What?
I mean, because that's strange enough in and of itself. Because I mean, maybe I don't know enough about company culture and stuff, but if you're the CEO, isn't it? Don't you dictate these things. You don't. Oh, I disagree with everyone, so I'm going now. Actually,
yeah,
really...
I mean, not necessarily. I suppose it can also, there could be a board of directors
say,
that have higher
calls.
votes, and there are of course investors and stuff like that. But I don't know. This all sounds very strange.
Mm-hmm.
So
really
Paradox then issued a statement to Eurogamer where they said that the results of the survey were not satisfactory. Do you want to hear the full quote with the reverb? Is that okay?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Okay, so it said, we are aware of a survey undertaken inside the company on this topic and of the results which are obviously not satisfactory. The management team wants to ensure this data is acted upon, but taking immediate direct action is legally difficult thanks to the informal nature of the survey and thanks to the results being shared just before we underwent this CEO change, which has been fairly busy for us. We are currently working to reconcile the informal survey with our own internal research and are eager to take action. Paradox is now in the process of bringing in an external neutral firm to conduct a thorough audit of our processes and a comprehensive employee survey. This will help us to advance our efforts towards all the subjects that we've worked to improve in recent years. Harassment and abuse will be paramount among those. But we'll also be examining subjects like unbiased hiring and compensation, ongoing bias awareness, inclusion, and more.
Okay, so that, to be fair, is not a bad statement.
It's certainly better than it's better than the usual sort of we realise we need to do better stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
It sounds like a somewhat of a plan there, but
it means nothing unless their actions are being proven. So this story is ongoing, and hopefully this is a company changing for the better, and hopefully more companies change for the better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the more of these stories get reported and get spoken about, the more other companies will, start unions or the employees saying, "This isn't right. We've been living under this, reign of terror or this horrible culture or horrible conditions for so long." And hopefully, the more stories we hear, the more that gives strength to people in companies to think, no, let's actually speak out about this.
Well, this is it. You would hope that there are a lot of companies now trying to preempt a story like this and be like, yeah, do you know what? If you're a manager and even you think, oh, well, there's no problems here. How about you fucking check? Yeah, don't just assume and check.
But I just assume thinking, there's no problem. We're not as bad as that news story, or what? No, I think there's been some things, but nothing like that. That most of them are so blind to the facts and the actions they've taken over years.
But Sean's point still stands. Yeah.
Oh no, for sure. Yeah. Hopefully there is action of any sort.
Anything from Ubisoft yet? No,
nothing.
Still going silent on
we've
that?
got nothing there. No.
Okay, all right. Well, that's where my mind goes when this stuff all comes out. Ubisoft's still not addressing that stuff. Okay.
So the next story is that this has been a really weird week for Sony in a bad way, in terms of how their PS4 to PS5 game upgrades are going to work. So what happened first of all is that they had previously announced that Horizon Forbidden West was going to get a free next-gen upgrade. So if you bought it, then you could just upgrade as you can on Xbox.
Well, is that directly true? Did they specifically say that?
Yes, they did. They said...
Because I thought they specifically said all launch games would get a free upgrade, and that's why they thought they could change that rule for Forbidden West.
Okay,
because at the time, Forbidden West was a launch game, and now it is not.
Yeah, I don't know if it was for all launch games, but yeah, it was definitely for Forbidden West, though. They'd said that they were going to do this, and then...
Okay.
Then they rolled it back. So then what happened was they then said last week that if you purchase the Digital Deluxe Collectors or Regala editions, then you'd be able to upgrade from the PS4 to the PS5 for free. But if you bought the Standard or Special Edition, then you needed to pay a fee. So naturally, there was then uproar over this. Rightly so, because they kind of lied a bit about this.
Gone back on their deal, yeah.
Yeah. So then... The other day, Sony Interactive Entertainment President Jim Ryan has then done a blog post reversing this decision again and saying that the upgrade will be free this time round, but then going forward, all first-party titles will have a $10 fee to upgrade to PS5, including God of War and Gran Turismo 7. So this is what he said. He said, it's abundantly clear that the offerings we confirmed in the pre-order kickoff missed the mark. Last year, we made a commitment to deliver free upgrades for our cross-gen launch titles, which included Horizon Forbidden West. While the pandemic's profound impact pushed Forbidden West out of the launch window we initially envisaged, we will be stand by our offer. Players who purchase Horizon Forbidden West on PlayStation 4 will be able to upgrade to the PlayStation 5 version for free. I also want to confirm today that moving forward, I don't know why I'm saying this. I've already just summarised it anyway. What's the point? There's literally
we'll say
no
that
point.
last bit because that's the bit that completely blew my mind because it sounded like they were about to announce that all upcoming games can be upgraded for free. But
Yeah,
read
that's
that
how I
last
read.
paragraph.
So then he says, I also want to confirm today that moving forward, PlayStation first-party exclusive cross-gen titles, newly released on PS4 and PS5, both digital and physical, will offer a $10 US, $10, I can't read tonight, digital upgrade option from PS4 to PS5. This will apply to the next God of War and Gran Turismo 7 and any other exclusive. What a mess. What a total mess. But yeah.
Yeah, it's bad, isn't it? I think, the way they saw it, next-gen games are 70 quid, last-gen games are 60 quid, right? So that's where they've got that $10 upgrade from. And I think maybe this was really just the wrong decision. I think if Microsoft were doing the same thing, then it wouldn't look as bad. It just looked like, that's what companies are trying to do to us. But the fact that Xbox games are one price, works on both platforms, no mucking about, no upgrading, none of this. And that's not totally true because when it comes to third-party games, that's not always the case. As we know, games like Wreckfest and various others had you have to pay to upgrade them. But I don't know, this just seems a bit nuts to me. It just seems weird. I don't understand. Okay, you're going to be making more money off of the PS5 games, but my assumption would be that you'd be selling less of those games, right? More people will be buying them on last gen. Do you think I'm stupid for saying that?
No, definitely. I think that's right.
Oh, no, definitely more people on PS4 than PS5, yeah.
Right, okay. And you also want people to upgrade to the PS5. So giving them the incentive of, all those games you bought this year, they also work for the PS5 just off of the bat. You buy a PS5, you'll get to play all those games with all the bells and whistles on. Isn't that an incentive to upgrade to a new console?
But then there's literally no point in putting out a PS5 disc if you're going to do that, or having any price differentiation, is there? Because then everybody will just buy the PS4 version. There's no point in buying the PS5
but what you're not doing, you're not selling that's as if to say, well, we won't get the extra money for the PS5 version then. But my point is you're trying to push them onto that new ecosystem.
Yeah, for me, who doesn't have a PS5 yet, so, say New Horizon comes out and all the reviews are absolutely through the roof and stuff, I might consider the PS4 version. If that was a free upgrade to a PS5 version, that sort of sweetens the pot for me one day getting a PS5.
Yeah,
but
which is true. But then again, there's no point in putting out a PS4 version and a PS5 version. You should just put out one version if you're going to do that.
Possibly, what does that mean?
Because
they still need to run on both consoles.
How do you mean?
What I'm saying is that forget Game Pass for a moment. Halo Infinite comes out at the end of the year. Forget all the quality and all that sort of stuff. Halo Infinite is releasing at the end of the year. It's got one price for both consoles. You buy it. It's not even got an Xbox One version and an Xbox Series version. It's just, here's Halo Infinite. You buy it and it downloads that version to the console, whatever gen you're on. So what are you saying, that Sony can't do that?
No, I'm saying that that's what they'd have to do. They'd have to completely change what they're doing at the moment of having differentiated, I'm talking about boxed copies here, okay? They'd have to have completely differentiated what's it called, packaging from what they've got now. Because at the moment you've got because at the moment you've got a PS5 version and you've got a PS4 version. If you go to the shops, it's very clear which of those you're going to buy for which console.
Correct, yeah.
You see, if they
were
Microsoft
both the
approach,
same price,
exactly,
then this problem goes away.
Yeah, if they're the same price, it goes away. But then that means they then have to reduce the price, won't they, on PlayStation 5 games, which I don't think they're going to want to do. Hence the $10 upgrade. I'm not saying any of this is right. I think it's mad, and I think that this is really what Microsoft has done has totally demonstrated, how kind of messed up this whole thing has been for Sony. But also, if you see it from their perspective and whatever they put forward, what their business strategy is, this would require an entire restructuring of how they're pricing everything. If they do that.
Correct.
What I find strange about this,
I think.
Go on.
Go on.
Well, no, I'm
No, go
looking
on,
at the prices now. PS4, obviously, 60 quid. These are the digital versions on the PlayStation Store. PS4, 60 quid. Standard edition for PS5, where you can't upgrade, is 70 quid. But for 80 quid, you get a digital deluxe edition, which includes the free upgrade. The game for both PS4 and PS5, soundtracks, art books, items. So, I mean, people will just surely be buying the digital deluxe edition. And therefore
Really?
the upsell.
So they're going to pay an extra £10 on top of that for some tat.
Well, I think if they're into it, yeah, because you get other stuff in. Yeah, I think if you're into it, they're just hoping everyone will just buy the 80 quid version. That's what they're hoping. They're hoping to upsell for another tenner.
This seems really out there for me, I think.
I think it wouldn't have done if Microsoft weren't doing what they're doing. Do you know what I mean? Like if they were doing the same thing, I don't think people would be so bothered about this. But it's because Microsoft, because they kind of have changed the game with all of this, like in a big way. And in a good way. Like I'm hoping that maybe Sony are going to do something about this, but at the moment, I don't think so. They don't seem to need to.
Sony won't change. They don't need to. I mean, they've conceded enough by saying, "Hey, we're listening, everyone. It's just $10 to upgrade." But yeah, they're not going to change while PlayStation 5s are flying off the shelves, while people are desperate to get hold of the consoles, while they're releasing these games that are clearly selling incredibly well. That they will not make a single change. They don't need to make a change until it properly hits their bottom line. Like it's already
honestly, I mean, who knows which way it's going to go. But when you look, I look at the offerings in terms of value for money for each side of the argument here, and it's crazy. And all right, they're going for two completely different things. It's clear, I think, that we'll see over time, not necessarily at the moment, I think over time we will see that actually the budgets being put into the PlayStation games are way higher than what Microsoft put into theirs, right? I think
actually,
that's the way it's going to go.
News today, I'm not sure it was Sean Layden, but someone said, they anticipate budgets for these kind of games in future will be like $200 million. Like, that's what I anticipate, the average budget for these kind of big budget games. It's insane, yeah. So carry on.
Yeah, so, I think that's the way it's going. If you want your really, really stupidly high budgeted games, then, Sony are going to have those. Whereas Microsoft are going to be, I dare I say it, releasing more games throughout the year, but not of that higher budget.
Yeah,
then
definitely.
Yeah, but then
it's weird. It is too
but if by Sony sort of focusing on that massive budget stuff, that means that anything that flops fucking hard.
It does.
That's true. Yeah. And then that makes finances very difficult as a developer and a publisher. And it ultimately will make Sony a lot more risk averse. Whereas Game Pass,
what I don't want is huge gaps between them as well. Because it's Sony doing these games, and all right, you're going to get third-party stuff that is a really high quality, but. But we're already seeing the huge gaps, Matt. That's the problem.
Well, it's true. There's been nothing, is there? For what was the last thing that came out? Was it?
Well, Ratchet and Clank,
wasn't it? And we don't even know what they've got for Christmas. We've got no idea because there's nothing coming, which is really disappointing.
Find out soon.
Yeah, maybe
we'll find out soon.
Yeah. But no, what you said, Sean, about the risk, that was one of the things that Sean Layden said was it means that they have to be really careful about what they're going to choose. And ultimately, that's not great because that just means that you end up with a lot more sort of conservative choices and not, potentially not interesting things. I mean, this was one of the things
compared to, what we've seen, everyone saying how Game Pass has been such an amazing thing for allowing them to discover smaller, potentially less polished games, and how that's been a really enjoyable thing for them. And I don't need. Much as I would like it if Sony launched a Game Pass equivalent, I don't necessarily need both, Sony and Microsoft doing the exact same thing. It's, if they're taking different strategies, that's arguably more interesting for us as consumers. But it's just interesting.
Yeah, and of course, there's a lot of gamers out there that don't want those sort of unpolished gems. They want the big budget, blow your face off graphically stuff. I think there's a market for both of them, for sure.
Cliffy B. Anyway, let's move on. Current generation console shortages may last until 2023, apparently. So
it's all about the chips, is it?
It is. It's all
Not
about the
enough
chips. So this
Chips
was
are
from Toshiba, and they said the supply of chips will remain very tight until at least September next year. They said in some cases we may find some customers not being fully served until 2023. And so this is also what's come from this is that Microsoft, Google and Apple are forming a lobby group to promote semiconductor manufacturing in the US as well to solve the shortage, because this is the problem. It's the semiconductor manufacture. It's only done in very certain locations, and they're not producing enough because of shortages, etc., and it's a problem.
If anyone at home's wondering, semiconductor is the proper name for computer chips.
Okay, right, here we go. Here's a question then. James?
Yeah.
Have you still got your Switch LED version on pre-order?
OLED.
I might have.
Yeah. Have you made a decision whether you're going to buy it yet or not?
Not yet. I've still got a month to go, so I haven't decided yet.
Okay, he'll get it. He'll get it because this will be his excuse. Well, if I don't get it now, I might not be able to get it till 2023. You watch. You watch. This will be it. Do you remember, wasn't it the original Switch that you used Brexit as your excuse for buying the original Switch, wasn't it?
That was one of the excuses I used on Chen, as to why I should get it.
Well, because when Brexit comes in, it'll be way more expensive, you said.
Yeah.
So that's why you bought it. I remember now. You'll end up with that LED version. I know it. I know it.
OLED, David, OLED.
That's it. OLED,
James,
LED.
James, I thought exactly the same. I thought, wow, I mean, I wasn't going to get it, but now, am I going to wait?
Oh, man.
Am I going to wait a year and a half? Like an absolute mug. So this is, I guess not entirely surprising. Clearly, the entire world's been affected by the scarcity of materials and chips and all sorts. And then another thing, this is more Apple related, but more like chip manufacturers are actually reporting that there's going to be also a huge hike in prices. I think one of the chips or something related to the new iPhone, the manufacturers reported it's going to cost 20% extra. So we might find actually that not only are things tight and hard to get hold of, but when it comes to maybe newer versions of consoles in a year or two's time, that they may also cost more due to all the kind of pressure that's been put on these kind of supply manufacturers around the world. So it's going to be a really interesting time.
Do you guys think that this will extend the life of this generation of video game consoles?
Might have to, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
You think it's coming up to a year since these consoles launched, right? We're not too far off a year since these consoles launched.
What, already? No way.
We are getting close, yeah.
Was it November? November last year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean,
feels
it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, it feels like they barely got started, really.
No, it still feels like, most of the launch games still aren't out yet, Sean. That's the problem.
Xbox still hasn't released a game.
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, it's nuts. I think this is going to be, or at least there's going to be a long time before they start thinking about announcing their sort of upgraded versions of these consoles.
For a kickoff, they got to wait until the original PlayStation 5 is actually in stock.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Let alone actually shortages and
Could you imagine if they said PlayStation 5 Slim out next year?
I'm still trying to get pre-order on the first one.
Okay, next news story.
Okay, so also last week we had the hashtag A Day Off Twitch campaign, and it did seem to have some sort of impact because there was it wasn't a massive decline, but there was a decline in viewership. So there's a Twitch tracking site called Sulino, and the 1st of September saw 57 million viewer hours watched that day. By comparison, most Wednesdays there are 61 to 65 million, so the viewership decline according to them was 7 to 12%. But these are more conservative numbers than GameSite Analytics, who thought that it was down by 16% week on week during that time.
Yeah, that's not a massive. I mean, it is financially, I'm sure it is, but I don't think that's as big a drop as everyone was hoping, right?
I don't know. I think that's pretty good considering how many people
you'd know better than I would.
Well, just considering the millions upon millions of people who just watch Twitch and will never have engaged with any of this stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
I think this is decent.
Okay, cool. So have Twitch responded?
Yeah.
No, although in March they did release a global transparency report, which apparently showed that less than 15% of user reports led to any sort of enforcement actions. and that only 2% of reports against harassment and hateful conduct led to action. So basically, they're doing nothing, it seems.
Cool.
Hey, Twitch, sort your shit out. Because I hope this just builds and builds until you're forced to do something about it. Because
you say they didn't do anything. They sent an email to us, and I'm sure everyone else saying about how they, no streamer should have to deal with these malicious and hateful attacks. Here are a bunch of tools.
We agree. Yeah.
Blah blah blah.
No,
they're
not
hosting...
here are a bunch of tools. Don't put it on the people that are using your service. They're taking a lot of money from these content creators. You owe them the decency of protecting them. It's as simple as that. Don't send them links to tools. Implement it in your website, your platform. And it's easy to go, well, it's content created, so, it's really on them. But you're taking a lot of their money. You know what I mean? Yeah. You're taking a big cut of what they're earning. So it's your platform. You can't say you owe us this money because it's our platform, but also you're creating the content, so you're responsible for the chat. That's not how it works. It's not how it works. So they've got to step up here because this is getting ridiculous.
Yeah, they've said that they're having a creator camp focused on these tools on September 15th, 9 a.m. Pacific, 4 p.m.
What
GMT.
Does that mean?
But basically where people can ask some questions and see how to implement these tools and strategies. But
why are you not coming out and saying we want to protect the people that are using our service, that are earning our money? This is mad to me. It's mad. What stance are you taking if you're not against this and actively trying to deter it? What stance are you taking? I think
their point of view is they've said they're against it. They've got tools and creator camps.
But it's putting the onus on the streamers to deal with it themselves, basically, which is just weird, isn't it?
It's wrong.
Yeah.
It's actually wrong. That's messed up, man. Sorry.
Okay, next story is that it looks like Rebooted GamesMaster is looking for contestants. So there was an advert published by Future on Game FAQs by some user called Albert Bankole asking for contestants for what was called a landmark video gaming TV series. This was then taken down by a moderator, and then VGC also reported that there was a LinkedIn page for Bankole stating that he's been working as the assistant producer on GamesMaster, although that's also been removed now. So it looks like they're looking for contestants.
I mean, let's just say, should we? We sent an email. We sent an email saying, this is before we knew it was GamesMaster. Yeah. We just saw there was a TV show on Channel 4. They were looking for gaming people that wanted to get involved.
No, David, get it right. They're looking for gamers. Right.
Yeah,
gamers.
Even if we were noobs, right?
Yeah, but because we're gamers, capital GAM,
that's
gamers.
Right.
So
yeah, but look, a lot of people, especially on Rollmuck, come down hard on that. And I just thought, yeah, but they're trying to, I don't know, I can't have a go at them for that. It was just an advert slung out there. It didn't represent. A lot of people saying, well, if that's how you're talking to gamers, then what's the show going to be like? Don't worry about any of that. The person that wrote that is not going to be writing the stuff for the show. That's not going to be the case. But we saw that and I thought, oh, do you know what? Fuck it. We're going to sling our hat in the ring.
In that ring, yes.
Does that work? Right, okay, yeah. So we slung our hat in that ring, and let's see what comes of that.
And we'd like to announce no, we'll say that.
Yeah. James Farley is the new GamesMaster. I can't wait to see you on that show, James. Have you thought about your gimmick? What are you going to do?
I have a pipe.
Okay.
No, James, have you thought, I imagine we will go to set one day, and they're like, oh, right, so you guys, you're obviously, the contestants, and Tom's like, hang on. And they do that thing with their hands where they're kind of like a photo frame. They're like, hang on, no. I'm thinking, no, how about you're the GamesMaster? And James was like, well, I guess I've got the outfit. Go on then. And then there's just three of us because suddenly James actually...
Oh, you got the outfit, have you? Yeah, well, it's packed under a couple of books at the moment. I'll see if I can
it's incredibly heavy.
Oh, God, that joke's going to get rolled out a lot.
I can do GamesMaster. It'd be fine.
I can do GamesMaster.
This is the confidence on the lad.
Yeah. Good. I'm excited to see what this GamesMaster thing's about. They had to get peeled.
Oh God! I'm not one of those people that's going to sit there watching it with my nose in the air, being all cynical about it. Let's just see how it goes. Let's see what comes out of it. It could be good. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows exactly who? Yeah, go on, James.
Anyway, so apparently Game Boy and Game Boy Color titles are going to be coming to Nintendo Switch Online. And
okay, name one that would be good. Let's try that.
What's that?
Anyone?
No.
Well, there was Link's Awakening, but that's already been remade.
Yeah.
Tetris
Name
Color.
one that would be good. The Looney Tunes game.
Gargoyle's Quest. That was really good.
Oh, I was gonna say that.
Okay.
Fucking, I was gonna say
All
that.
right. Any more?
It says who, James?
This is according. Well, Eurogamer have heard this from other places, and then have then said, "Oh, we've heard it from several places, so it's true." But they said the same sort of.
Cool.
They said the same sort of thing with the Switch Pro, if we remember. So I'm not sure if this is really going to happen.
James, right? Look, I played this game, and I remember loving it as a kid. But as we all know, playing games as a kid, you love everything anyway. Apart from you, maybe you came out of the womb going, "I don't quite understand." But for most people, playing a game as a kid, you think it's the best thing ever, even if it's a bit rubbish. So try and correct me here. Were the Super Mario Land games, the ones on the Game Boy, were they any good?
Okay. So the first one was an interesting sort of diversion because it wasn't really like a regular mainline Mario game, but it still wasn't bad at all. I mean, I quite enjoyed it. The second one was a bit of a technical mess because they tried to basically make Mario World and it couldn't really support it because there wasn't enough enemies on screen, etc. The third one they did was Wario, it was like Super Mario Land 3, like Wario Land, and that was a very, very good game. They did actually find a very good niche on the
the Wario one was good, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I remember that.
It was excellent, yeah. And then they basically then stopped doing Mario ones and just did Wario ones, which were all pretty interesting.
The Mario Land game had one of the best bits of Mario music ever,
yeah,
right?
Definitely. The ending music, amazing for the original
No,
Mario
I'm talking
Land.
about dun 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 dun.
Yeah, that as well, yeah.
Oh, so good. And then they turned it into the rap song. I mean, we need to play that loud somewhere, don't we? Go to a park, put that up. Love that. Love all that.
Let's do it.
Play it out the speakers of the car. Come on. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's hold hi-fis on our shoulders and just play
it.
Yeah.
James can break dance to it.
Some of those were pretty good. Like the Mario ones were pretty good, but there wasn't that many other... I don't know. I mean, people liked the Game Boy, didn't they? Because it had Pokemon eventually. There was Zelda on it, which was great. But
I never played Pokemon eventually. Was that a good one?
Oh, that was it's Pokemon eventually and Pokemon kind of. And then they're both... You had to play both of them to get all the Pokemon.
I prefer Pokemon whatever.
All right, let's not take the piss, James.
Pikachu just had static back then, if I remember correctly. People did touch Pikachu and go, oh God, I got a shock off that. That was it. Little joke is what I was trying to say there. I'm so tired, Matt. Right, okay, let's move on.
Okay, final bit of news is that PlayStation are going to be broadcasting a big showcase event next week. Which is this week.
It's a shame you didn't slip that in when we teed you up for the transition to it earlier in the thing, eh, Matt? What did you think?
I mean, we can open the door, Dave. He's got to walk through himself.
Yeah, he's got to walk through it.
Saving it.
So what do you reckon? What do you reckon? Is it going to be a good one or a bad one? We're going to do a talks over of it, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's happening this Thursday, so tomorrow, after this comes out, at 9 PM UK time. And they're saying that this is going to be a look into the future of the PS5. And then they said there's going to be some of the industry's most imaginative developers, involved. So, yeah, sounds interesting.
I hope this is good, but I fear. Like, I don't want to get too excited about these things, but no, do you know what? That's not me. I'm going to get pumped for it. I reckon it's going to be brilliant on Thursday. That's more like me.
I'm very excited.
I don't want to turn into James.
They said about the future of PlayStation, the most imaginative developers this year and beyond. This, and also this isn't a state of play. It's a showcase. If it's just hey, we've got some updates, that'd be a state of play. The fact, the branding's black, right? That means big shit's going down. This is not just.
Does it?
Yes, state of play's happening. No, they've got it's like black background, like sparkly letters. This means big boy shit. I'm pumped. Right, let's have it. Right, what do we think Naughty Dog will be there with a new game?
No. Oh, maybe. Huh. I think they're definitely going to. I think the focus of the thing is going to be the new God of War game, right? We're definitely going to see that now.
I think we'll see that. I reckon we might see some other stuff, like maybe because there was a rumor of like a Sly Cooper remake as well. Maybe that will happen. I mean, that's. I know no one cares about that,
but we're talking big boy shit.
Yeah, not Sly.
Return
Coops.
of Jack and Daxter.
That would be cool.
Maybe
I'd like that because I like the. Well, okay, I only like one of those games. The first one.
I haven't played Jack and Daxter, and I know how different really are they to Ratchet and Clank. Are they totally different games?
Yeah, they are.
So, but what are they like, really?
The one's a shooter and the other one's a platformer.
Well, no, because Jack 2 became a shooter and it was much worse for
I'm
it.
talking about Jack. I'm talking about Jack 1.
Yeah,
that was an out-and-out 3D platformer.
I was talking about Jack 1, all
right. I'm talking about Jack 1.
Oh, you're talking about Jack 1.
Maybe, I don't know. Who knows what they're going to announce? At this point, it could be anything, right?
But that's the fun of a conversation, Dave. We can just suggest what we think might or might not be there.
Go on then. Fun? You haven't made a single suggestion, have you?
I did. I just said Naughty Dog will be there. Next, James.
Right, Naughty Dog will be there. Right, okay. That's a fun conversation then, isn't it? Just name a developer, James, and say they'll be there.
It's more fun than you saying, we don't know, so there's no point talking about it.
I said Jack and Daxter. That's way more wild.
Is it? I'm thinking new Uncharted.
Nah, would you be disappointed? I'd be disappointed with that.
I thought, isn't Nathan Drake basically put to bed now?
Yeah,
there's no reason it couldn't be someone else, I guess. But.
Yeah, it could be someone else.
Yeah, exactly. Like the
they did that other spin-off, didn't they? Which was actually very good. Like
but if they show another Uncharted game, man, I think that'd be well disappointing. I want Naughty Dog working on something new.
It would be amazing to have a totally new franchise from them for sure. Yeah, that would be really exciting.
What would you call it, James? If you're working at Naughty Dog, just come out with a title. Come on.
Oh, come on. I can't.
Oh, that's a... what's that?
That's a plot title.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Oh, come on.
Is it a quiz game? What is it?
It's all about a parent trying to get their kid to put their clothes on ready for school.
Oh, come on.
That's the whole game. Come on. Right, okay, so we're looking forward to that.
We're off the chain. No, I really hope this is... I probably shouldn't be getting too excited, but I'm expecting big things. The future of PlayStation.
You've just come back from running away to do a shit. So what do you think will? What do you think will be announced on Thursday?
I don't know. Like because I'm not invested, am I? I'm just going to turn up. Whatever happens. If it's good, I'll look forward to one day getting a PS5. If it's bad, I'll have a little chuckle to myself.
Okay, we found the real console fanboy. Interesting.
It's not about being a fanboy. It's just about thank God I don't have to find 500 quid.
It would be good to have new titles, new franchises from developers and So obviously we've known it's Uncharted or Last of Us, It would be amazing to hear new Naughty Dog new Naughty Dog series. Obviously, Insomniac, we don't know what they're doing next week, do we?
We don't.
We got them. We'll probably see some
more Spider-Mans.
More Spider-Mans.
I don't think we're going to see that yet.
But we just want a different Marvel hero, but
multiverse. Spider-Man in the multiverse.
Yeah.
Come on, that's what we want.
Yeah.
That's what we want.
But that would not be disappointing because the Spider-Man games are fantastic, but it's not like, oh shit! It's it's another Spider-Man game, which would be cool.
It depends. If it was the multiverse where all sorts of crazy shit's happening, I'd be bang up for that.
Yeah, and even if it was another standard not Zombieland. I mean, that's actually already out on Oculus Quest and Steam VR.
Okay, all right. Steam. Right, forget that.
No, if it was just another Spider-Man game, I'll still play it because I'm sure it'd be fantastic. But that wouldn't be like, that wouldn't be Megaton, is what I'm saying.
Okay, come on. What's Megaton then for you, Matt? A new Uncharted game. Come on.
No, that would be like, okay, cool, Uncharted's coming back. What are they going to do to make it different? Because it did feel like it kind of come to the end.
It's not been away long enough for us to go, it's back.
I think it has. I'll tell you what I'd love to see is if we get another Astrobot. Like that, we get a look at
like a proper Astrobot
game. That's too soon.
Yeah, like Astrobot is the way forwards, isn't it? In a lot of ways, that's every time Astrobot has come out, everyone's been like, this is fucking PlayStation's new mascot. This is their thing. Like it's up there with, some of the best Mario stuff. Like that's no mean feat. And it's like, yeah.
So we can all look forward to the next Little Big Planet game, can't we? Let's all look forward to that.
It's too soon for that. I mean, I'm. They've always said they're putting more budget into that. They want to do bigger things, but it was too soon for that. I mean,
Sean, have you even played a PS5 yet?
No.
Have you seen one in real life?
When are you next down? When are you next near South London? Are we talking months?
I don't know. Yeah, I'd probably do my traditional pre-Christmas visit.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe you stop by good old Davey T's. We set up a camera and let you play with a PS5 on stream for an hour or so. That sounds like the way forward. Right. Are we...
I'll just sit there going, what do you mean you have to pay for the games? This is shit.
Yeah, you can show you all the £10 upgrades and all that jazz.
Good point.
Are we done?
Yes, that's it. That's the end of the news.
There's no Farley's Fantasy Zone this week?
Nah, there isn't.
I think
Not
there was
a single
one recently.
rumour for
Didn't
2
I say,
weeks.
that'd be a great one? I can't remember what it was. Don't matter.
Well, the Game Boy and Game Boy Color one kind of is fantasy because it's not been confirmed, but I don't know.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
What have you been playing? Should we get straight into... Well, I mean, I'll start. And I think I should... Firstly, we spoke a lot about Psychonauts 2 last week. We're going to discuss it a little bit more this week because I've now finished it.
Cool.
We need James's view on it. Actually, let's go to James first with his view, and I'll tell you how the game left me by the end of it. Go on, James.
I've played this. This is the only thing I've played over the last couple of weeks. I was going to start this off by just saying when does it get good or something like that, just to wind people up. But I'm not going to do that because it's really great, and it's very good. I'm up to I think a little bit further than you were, David, when you talked about it last week. And there's some things about it which I'm less keen on. I mean, I don't think that the platforming is that great. And it's not that Raz is hard to control or anything like that. It's very functional, but it's not very fun, I don't feel, like the way that he controls.
Did you have a problem with... Have you had a problem with perspective in it? Because I certainly experienced a bit of that, where I'm like, well, I must be over the platform now, but you're nowhere near it.
Yeah.
That's a weird one,
Even
isn't
though there
it?
is, there is the traditional sort of drop shadow directly beneath you at all times that you can sort of use to gauge
I'm
it.
starting to wonder maybe the default camera angle is just slightly too low, or the angle of it, or the depth of field, or something. I think
it's the camera angle. So I only found that drop shadow useful when I was pulling the camera looking down on purpose.
Yeah.
See, also, the other thing with that I found is when there's those bits where you jump onto stuff and then swing round and then jump onto another one. I kept missing those as well, going from one to the other, and that was a bit weird because normally in games nowadays that never happens. But this was,
there's a few, I know what you mean. Because as you say, you expect things like that in a platformer, 2D or 3D, to if you jump off a pole or whatever that you're swinging off, then that should surely move you a set distance every time.
Mm-hmm.
But there were a couple of times where I would just miss the next pole or a ladder or whatever. Not sure what's going on there, but
it's just functional rather than fun. I felt the mechanics of moving around and everything. And just like you, Dave, though, I felt that notebook in the beginning, I felt totally overwhelmed with all the things that they throw at you straight away. Of just
now knowing where I am in the game, it's incredible how simple that stuff is. Now. Yeah. It's really funny, especially the upgrade stuff on the computer. Because when I was looking at it, I was like, right, you got badges, you got these items, then you got cards, then you've got upgrades.
You got things you need to collect, and collect 9 of them to upgrade that. And I was like, oh wow.
Yeah, when I worked out that actually you just buy those little ball things and then you combine them with the cards and it just levels you up one level. Yeah. It's right, okay, that's it then, is it? Mm-hmm. I thought this was way more complicated.
They could have explained it a bit better because it is just a bit...
100%.
They could have just simplified it. It could have just been every 9 cards you get a level.
Yeah,
done.
100%. You shouldn't have had to have bought an item. In fact, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of stuff that you just think, why am I going over and pressing a button to unlock the purple collectibles?
Yes. Yeah.
Only for them to explode, and then you have to run over them to collect them as well.
Unless you get a pin that then drags them into you or whatever, you can get one of those.
Yeah, it's but even then you've still got to press Y on them, right?
Yes, yeah.
So what's the point? And then also, they really should have scaled down on the collectibles, in my opinion. You know, this is the sort of game that I wouldn't mind going in and out of and checking out some of the levels in a little bit more detail and exploring them a little bit more, going back to it. But I ain't going to do that knowing that I'm not going for 100% because there's like 50 million things to collect per level.
It's the figments especially, isn't it? Because at least in terms of the, you know, the cards and stuff, they're often in like interesting to reach places, whereas the figments are just fucking everywhere, and it's just a case of like
the figments are everywhere,
scouring every single corner and stuff. Like,
yeah, that is what it is. For me, the worst are the tags and the bags.
Yeah.
So you've got to then like imagine a collectible where you have to. There are like 6 collectibles in a level, but you've got to collect 3 before you can find the other 3. And
or you can find the other 3, but you just can't do anything with them.
You can't do anything with them until you found the first 3.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck? The bag things make no sense to me whatsoever. I don't understand how anyone thought they were a good idea.
I mean, other than the emotional baggage thing being a pun, that's kind of it.
And also, I didn't really need to hear Raz constantly say, I can hear something.
Yeah.
I can hear some emotional baggage all the time. It's like, oh, come on, man. So, yeah, I think there's improvements to be made. You're absolutely right, James. But for me, I've got a question, right? Because I've finished this game now, and I will say, overall, I really enjoyed it. Like, I really enjoyed it. My biggest disappointment is that from the opening few hours that I played that I spoke about last week, I was expecting a game that I might rate 9 or 10, whereas I've come out at the end of it thinking this is more of an 8, maybe even a 7.
I feel exactly the same, actually, so far.
And I think one of my major problems, and I'm interested to hear your answer to this question, Sean. Did you feel like you were always following the story in this?
The overall story, yes. There was a couple of the brains I was in where I sort of lost the thread.
Totally. And I think that's the biggest problem, because I think the story is great. Like, knowing how everything resolves and how everything sort of builds up, I think in terms of the story, it was great. In terms of the storytelling, I think it lacked a little bit, because there were moments where I was like, so what it is, you've got a main plot line, right? And that's based in events within the real world. But then you're constantly going into brains, and the brains and minds don't have a sort of consistency between them. They're all completely different when you go in there, which is fine. I haven't got a problem with that in terms of a concept. But I think being told a story, you need to be constantly reminded that you're inside someone's brain, and although I knew what tasks I need to do in that brain, there wasn't any real major link between what you were doing in someone's brain and what was going on in the real space, in the real space story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, you go into someone's brain and it's like, oh, we're dealing with gambling addiction now. But what has that got to do with the main plot and that character? It just seemed like, yes, this is in that person's head, and then that's that. It feels very separate.
Broadly speaking, obviously it varies case by case, but yeah, broadly speaking is that you need that character's help for some reason or another, and they are unable to help you, and that's why you're going in to sort them out.
But you spend a lot of time in those levels, which is great. Again, no problem with that. But because it feels like a completely different story to what the main thrust of the story is. By the time you come out again, you're going, right, and why did I go in that head again?
I quite like that, because I like that sensation of just coming out at the end and just being like, fuck me, none of that was real. That was just some person's head, and I've just been in there for the last 2 hours, and it's totally. That's just that sensation of just like, fuck, that was a fucking ride.
100%. Like, I totally agree with you for that, and that's exactly the feeling that I had, and especially, you know what level we're talking about, right? And that whole section of the game is absolutely unbelievable. It looks incredible. It's really funny. It's got some great bits in it, and that's a perfect feeling. But what I'm saying is, you've got a fantastic main story here, and it feels like I'm completely getting taken away from that for large portions of its game, to the detriment of that story. And you sort of mentioned last week that I lost the thread of who's who in terms of when they're talking about certain names.
What names?
gets really confusing towards the end of it, especially when there seems to be some major plot reveals, because you know this because the music, it might as well be going dun 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 as a line is being said, but they're talking about a specific character and you're going, right, and who?
Wait, which one's that? Yeah, is that the? Yeah, because as we said, because there's a lot of people. So there's Raz, the main character, and there's his family is involved, but there's another family where there's several people from the Zanotto family who are all who are all in prominent positions within the Psychonauts. And as you say, there's a couple bits where it's like, oh, that's Bob Zanotto, and you're like, wait, hang on, was he the granddad or was he the dad or was it? Yeah.
What I will say though, because I don't want to be too negative, because I think the reason why I came away feeling slightly negative is because I thought it was so promising in the first opening hours, and I feel that it didn't really. It hits that heights in a lot of ways, but it also misses that heights in a few ways as well. So in terms of level design, visuals, changing up gameplay and stuff like that, I think it absolutely nails all that stuff brilliantly. And even the story, by the end of it, I was in love with. It's just it felt so like it felt like I spent a lot of that game going, why am I doing this again? Like that. I think that's what the sort of tainted it a little bit for me.
It just feels a little uneven in places, I felt. When you say about the visuals and about it looking good, I've kind of felt like sometimes it looks very, very good. Sometimes it looks kind of average. I don't think it looks
sometimes it can look average, but I think the places where it does look really, really good, it is absolutely like nothing else you've ever seen before in a video game. But seriously. Also,
I think I'm not even that far in, but the number of ideas that there are, I found this makes this far more interesting than Ratchet and Clank was. And it's I'd argue it's probably less fun to play, in terms of mechanically, but it's still more interesting than Ratchet and Clank.
I don't know. Would I say it's less fun to play? I wouldn't say it's less fun to play because I didn't like the core loop of just continually changing my weapons and unloading them in enemies in Ratchet and Clank. It's funny you should say that though, because I don't think they are comparable. They're two completely different games, but I know why you've made that comparison. So because I also feel the same way about say It Takes Two, right? So I love those games for very different reasons. The story in It Takes Two is absolutely abysmal, for example. The characters are completely unlikable. Complete opposite to the way I feel about Psychonauts 2, where the story is really good, just not brilliantly told, and the characters are absolutely brilliant throughout, right? But in terms of variety gameplay, I think It Takes Two is leaps and bounds above Psychonauts. Everything you do in that game feels so solid and
control-wise,
really
it's definitely
well-tuned.
better. It's it feels a lot nicer to play. I feel.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm not sure where it sits on my list at the moment, but I will say, although we've brought up some negatives about the game this week, that's only because I think I held it to such high standards for when I first started playing it, rather than it being a bad game. It's a flawed game. And I think those flaws become a little bit more evident the more you played it. However, if someone says, shall I play Psychonauts 2? The answer is yes. Because there's so much to see in this game. And, not showing off, I didn't use the invincibility stuff, Sean, but I do not blame you for doing that, because I think another issue with this game is the checkpointing is absolutely shocking in places.
Yeah.
Especially the boss battles.
Yep.
Especially the boss battles, because you do the fighting and you get a big cutscene. You do the fighting, you get another big cutscene. You do the fighting, and say you die in that bit, you go right to the start of all of it. And although you can skip the cutscenes, it's still are you having a laugh?
That's why usually this is where you can see some of the, because this was in development for a long time, wasn't it? It's been, and you can see, I think, some of those sort of things from design choices that are from before. That particularly, like you said, the collectathon aspect is something which doesn't really happen so much anymore. Similarly with the checkpointing as well. That's got a lot better over the more recent years.
Yeah, whether it's, I don't know if it's if it was intentionally supposed to be a bit of a throwback, or as you say, it's just because it's been in development for so long. But yeah, certainly there are elements of it that feel quite regressive.
Yeah, but I don't think checkpointing is something that is, this has been in development for 5 years. They didn't decide on checkpointing in year one, did they? And even
true.
5 years ago, we had games that did checkpointing way better. I think they looked at the boss battles and said, well, if you can just start at the next checkpoint, like the obvious checkpoints, then this is just going to be piss easy, and some people want a challenge out of it.
Yeah.
Where like if it gave you full health back at the last cutscene, then you're going to fly through every boss, no problem. Because getting through a phase is easy, but getting through all phases with the same amount of health is actually a little bit more of a challenge.
Yeah, and I think I don't know if you were the same, Dave, but for me, like with the bosses, it was the fun was in figuring them out, and then the dialogue and the scenario and stuff. It wasn't really in the actual doing it. That it was fun. So as you say, when you get most of the way through a fight and then die and then have to start again, you just this is basically just like having to essentially rewatch a whole section.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'll say this. I mean, you said it last week, Sean.
Mhm.
My kids absolutely adored watching it.
Oh, nice.
Like they every morning, Psychonauts, I want Psychonauts, I want Psychonauts. And then all weekend they were singing that song, what is it? Welcome to my man, welcome to my man, welcome to my man. Running around the front room.
Yeah, I've just been singing it as well.
Cool.
Proper good.
Yeah, once I completed it, we stopped playing it, and then that evening, Charlie went, Psychonauts. And I went, we've finished it, mate. It's done. And he just burst into tears.
Oh, man.
I was like, okay, we'll try and find some stuff then. Just I'll stick it back on for 5 minutes.
Stick the first one on, Dave. Like that.
I like how much they've committed to the post-credit stuff as well. There's still plenty to go and new conversations to have that are not acting as if the events didn't take place. So that's cool. I always like that. Gets a big thumbs up from me, I think. Sure. Where are you up to? Speak around it. Like, give us a hint of the latest level that you're on, James.
I am on a level where it's... how do I explain this? Okay, when you meet the family, and then you go into and then there's like another area which is like a big forest and stuff around that sort of area.
Man, I fucking love that place.
Yeah,
so
which bit? I can try and remember. Oh, don't worry about it. I'll look it up. Maybe we'll talk about it afterwards. And Matt, you've not started this?
No, I started. I talked about it last week.
Did you? Sorry.
I haven't. Yeah. So no, I just haven't gone back to it this week. I was away for the weekend and I've been playing something else. But no, I'm
cool.
excited to play it. I'm kind of surprised. I thought everyone would be the case. This is an absolute Game of the Year nomination.
It should be like it makes the list at the moment, in my opinion.
Yeah. Totally.
I think maybe our criticisms. I think maybe I'm just like adjusting for how much I praised it last week. Whereas I came away from it not like that's it. My expectation was much higher based on those opening couple of hours, and it didn't quite hit those expectations, but it was still an incredible playthrough. I think it's still in contention for the list.
How long did it take
we'll see at the end of the year. Sorry?
How long did it take you in the end?
I have absolutely no idea. I've got absolutely no idea because I was playing it like early in the morning and like with the kids and stuff. I didn't keep track of how long it was taking me at all. If I was to guess, I would say about 10 to 12 hours, somewhere around that. But I couldn't commit to that either. God knows. I will. That's probably enough Psychonauts to chat this week, but I do have to have another quick shout out to the Faraday Protocol, which is, if you remember, a couple of weeks ago, I had an itch to play a 3D puzzle game, and this is scratching the itch. Absolutely, I might have to stream a little bit because no one's heard of this game, and as far as I'm aware, it's not been. No one knows what it is, but it's really it's hitting that mark. The only thing is that the story's a bit weird, so I don't know if I'm fully involved in that because these games they tend to have, the good ones tend to have a really good story alongside them. Superliminal, and that one that was in what was the one where you're in a hotel and it was like a time loop thing? And
I can't remember. I know the one you mean. I can't remember the name.
Yeah, it had like a story running through it and stuff. The story in this is a bit weird. I don't know if I'm on board with it yet. But the puzzles themselves are really interesting and really fun to do. It mainly involves the levels that I've done so far, it mainly involves like absorbing some power with your gun and shifting that power around the level to open doors and activate lifts and stuff like that. But there are different colours and you can chain stuff together, and it's way more involved than I initially thought it would be. So I'm looking forward to playing through that some more. I just hope it doesn't get too hard. It hasn't got anywhere near too hard so far. So hopefully that's not going to become an issue. But you know what those games are like. Sometimes you just think the devs are like, yeah, let's make this super hard. And I get to a point where I'm just like, I'm just going to be looking at walkthrough now. Who wants that? No one wants that. So, yeah, I've not got there yet. But one to look out for, and I'm sure I'll mention it again. I'm sure I'll mention it again in the near future. But that's all I've got. That's all you've got, James, right?
That's it, yeah. I've got nothing else.
Let's go, Sean.
Hello. I've been playing Road 96. So this is...
I'm interested in this game.
Me too. I'm really
interested.
I think you'll both really like it. So this is, there seems to be like a thing for sort of road trip games at the moment. And this is one of them. This one, I mean, for me, this kind of snuck under the radar and then came out the other week. But yeah, I'm really glad I checked it out. So this has I want to say roguelike structure, just in terms of it's based on multiple playthroughs, right? But it obviously, in terms of the way you play it, it's more like a sort of Telltale style, sort of choose your own adventure deal. But the general gist is, so you start off, you're playing as a teenager who is escaping the country that they live in, because it's made pretty clear early on that there's a sort of a right-wing sort of totalitarian government that sort of pretends it's a democracy. There's an election coming up, but the absolutely obviously hideous dictator is like well ahead in the polls, and no one's interested in the opposition. Even though there's there's also like an active sort of supposed terrorist group that want to bring the government down as well. And your deal is that you're just trying to escape. You're trying to get to the border to get out and start a new life elsewhere. And there's it's sort of implied there's become this sort of culture of teenagers just trying to escape the country just because they're so done with how everything's going. What I found really interesting, so I've only done a couple of runs on this. Each run is a good sort of hour plus, depending on sort of the choices you make and stuff. What I found really interesting is most roguelikes, it's like you start and you get basically nowhere, and then you die, and then you start again. And then sort of through successive runs, you get a bit further, and eventually you make it out, and it's like, oh my God, what an amazing achievement that was. Whereas this, I made it out on the first run, and I was like, oh, okay. And I don't know if that's like forced. I don't know if you can screw up on the first run, because there are definitely ways to die or get arrested or whatever on your way. It felt like there were a couple of situations where I thought I was definitely done for, and then like suddenly something happened that let me off the hook. And I was like, right, okay, maybe this is just letting me through for the sake of the first run. And yeah, and basically, so you do this first run and you get to the end and you escape. And then it's like 3 weeks later or whatever, it's election day and basically the country's on fire, right? So it's like, right. So there's way more to this. It's not just about getting out. It's about figuring like
course of,
like what's going on in the country, and exactly. And so and then going back into a second run, and it's completely different. Like you're meeting the same characters. There is a set cast of characters. You're not guaranteed to meet every single one of them on each run. But there's, it tells you sort of how much of each like character's story you've sort of progressed through. So if the more you meet a character, the more their bar fills up. And all the characters are really interesting one way or another so far. There's in the trailers and stuff, there's there's the creepy murderer guy and some bank robbers and stuff, and so far my dealings with them have been way more nuanced, beyond like, oh, they are bad guys, they are robbing places with guns,
just murdering and robbing banks.
Not just murdering and robbing banks, we're doing all sorts, mate. doing all sorts.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, it's just been proper interesting. Like, broadly speaking, the interactions are pretty light. That it's walking around, selecting dialogue options, and little actions and stuff. There's some like mini games which are fine.
Yeah, I was about to say what the thing that got me was because the first time I saw this was at the Nintendo Indie Showcase. I think.
Yeah.
And I was like, this looks really cool,
Mm-hmm.
but I just assumed it was just a narrative game. And then when I saw the launch trailer, I was like, this just seems packed with like cool little mini games.
Yeah, there's I've seen quite a few already, and they're all like, none of them are amazing, but obviously they're all like a couple of minutes here and there, and it's just like a nice little diversion. There's one where you're hanging out with this girl at a campsite, and it's like she has a trumpet. And she just gets you to play it along to the radio, and you can't play it. So you end up basically with this little sort of rhythm action mini game, sort of, where it's just really hard to control, but that's the point because you're terrible at it. And she's just laughing her ass off the entire time you're playing, and it's just really good. So it's funnier to sort of try and do it well, but you just can't. So there's stuff like that where it's just you can't really win or anything. It's just like an amusing little interaction, nice little bit of story. I'm really keen to crack on with it. I mean I'm playing it on PC. Like Switch would definitely be the way forward, I think, just because it'd be a really nice game to dip in and out of.
That
performance wasn't great on that.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's a shame.
Because I want to play it on the Switch, but then maybe I'll just wait for the other versions because I heard there's a bit of performance issue with that.
How long is like a run, as it were, of this? Like, how long does each one take?
So both of mine have been about an hour each.
Okay.
And I don't.
Are you
know...
playing as a new character every time, or is it time?
Yeah, sorry, yeah. So every time you escape, it's then cuts to. It's like really nicely done. Cuts to like a news report about like, more teenagers are going missing. It's like, here's the latest report. Then it'll come up with like 3 characters for you to choose from, and it'll sort of say like they're not sort of wildly different. Like you get skills and stuff that carry over between runs, and then each when you start a new run, it'll be like right, here's gender, age, how much money they've got, how much health they've got, and like whether they're currently hitchhiking or they're on a bus, or and how far they are from the border as well. So there's some that actually just start way closer than others. Which is interesting because I'm not yet sure.
Very cool.
Yeah, so I don't know what the implication is there, whether it's like, look, you'll finish the run quicker, but there'll be fewer encounters on the way. So maybe early on it's better to get more encounters,
Yeah.
Or maybe just thinking, well, I've only got half an hour, so I'll pick one that's already halfway there,
or maybe it's a way of limiting how quickly you can unfold one character's plot. Yeah. That's interesting.
So yeah, I mean, it's like the dialogue is not amazing, the acting's not brilliant, but as I say, the sort of the writing in the scenario in general holds it up. I think there's this this really interesting thing of obviously being a kid who's trying to escape the country, it's assumed you are not supportive of the shitty right-wing government, but there's this sort of ongoing discussion with other characters about like whether you support the sort of supposed terrorist group or whether you still believe in democracy, and like you have conversations with people and you get the choice between like, oh yeah, we need to fight back and rise up, or like, oh I can't wait for election day and we're going to vote, it's going to be great. And some people think that voting is really naive, and others think that violence is never the answer. And at the moment it's not sort of like, it's not steering me one way or the other. It's not sort of implying that there is going to be a like definite answer by the end, and I don't think there will be. But it's just an interesting discussion.
It's not going for like a perfect ending or whatever. It's just whatever ending you feel that you're comfortable with.
I can tell, like it really doesn't seem to be like, I think it's the writing's been nuanced enough that I think if it sort of ended with like, oh, and it turns out the freedom fighters were the right decision, that would be sort of disappointing,
Yeah.
Or the other, I think it's not really going to try and offer a definitive answer, and I think that's...
And it'd be ballsy to say, I think that the fascists are the right decision.
Yeah,
that might not work, right?
Yeah, they had it right the whole time. We should never have got involved.
Shouldn't have questioned them. Shouldn't have questioned our betters, you know. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So really enjoying it. Really interesting. Good game.
How many characters are? How many runs do you think you'll have to do before you see the whole story again?
I've no idea. It's sort of on the title screen. It's sort of there's like a bar that's like, so here's the start of the game, and then here's election day, and I think it looks like it's about 8 or 9 runs before you get to election day. So I don't know how that works. I don't know if it's like you can get to election day and completely fuck it and have to start again, or what. But excited to find out.
Cool.
Fantastic. And so it's out now on Switch, PC.
So
I want to play this
Switch
game.
and PC, but is it definitely coming to other platforms? Or?
Yeah, it might have been patched. So I need to check the latest patch notes on the Switch to see if the performance has been improved. Hopefully it has, because I really want to play this game.
Yeah, fingers crossed. And it's reviewed really well, hasn't it? So hopefully it's done well enough to justify ongoing support and ports to other platforms and stuff. So fingers crossed.
Cool. Anything else?
Yeah, the only other thing is I've finished Control.
Oh,
Finished
awesome.
it.
Finished it. Yeah. The ending was a bit abrupt, I thought.
Really? I thought it was the opposite.
But the journey on the... Well, this is... I say the ending. It's the whole sort of final chapter or two is brilliant. I just found the actual sort of final cutscene like, and then we did it, and that's it. That's that. But yeah, that run up to the ending I thought was absolutely fantastic. The ashtray maze, which everyone goes on about, was brilliant. But compared to when you go to the foundation before that, I thought that was just as cool. But I don't know, maybe that's just me.
I just felt it just felt like such a contained area, that ashtray maze, and the fact at the beginning you're like, how does it even work, and then you learn how it works, and the music kicks in. It felt like such a fantastic set piece.
Yeah. No, don't get me wrong, it was a great bit. There was so many great bits before and after it as well,
the problem is you've gone into it hearing everyone rave about this particular part of the game.
Yeah.
Is it? So there's always a natural feeling to go, come on then, let's see it. Well, that good.
Absolutely. So really glad I finished it. I'm not gonna go around doing all post-game stuff. I mean, I've got the fucking whatever it is, Turbo Collector's Edition, the re-release. So I've got all the DLC. Do you know if that's particularly worth delving into, Matt?
I don't know. I've never. I love the game, but I never tried a DLC. So I don't know how much there is. I mean, do you know how?
Was it 2 major? I think there's 2 major expansions. There was, because one of them's the Alan Wake one.
I was going to say, I know one of them focused on the Alan Wake stuff.
Yeah, I never played Alan Wake, so I don't know if I'd be missing out.
They also modified the game quite a lot, I think, especially the ending part and everything. Because when I played it, it was horrible. The end of that game,
I remember. I
absolutely hated it, and it was. But then apparently it's much better now.
I mean, I had loads of assists turned on by the end because I was just loving the story and the environments and just wanted to get through it really. But yeah, good game that. It's definitely for what I paid for, because it was on sale on the Xbox. So yeah, getting to play that Series S version for it was 15 quid or something. Yeah, proper good. Loved it.
I'm excited. I'm sure there'll be a sequel of sorts. I'm excited to see what happens.
Because the ending's sort of not ambiguous, but there are things to be resolved. So it'd be really cool to see if they do another one. Maybe we'll see it at the Sony event on Thursday.
Maybe.
Does it do that bit? Wait, does it do that thing where you beat the last bad guy and then there's the credits, and then after the credits you see the bad guy's hand and it moves a little bit and then it goes to the black screen? Does it do that?
No.
It's like the Terminator. The hand comes out the lava and thumbs up. Why are you to smash you? I've kind of the end kind of did my nutting, because as much as I love the game, I think I was playing it very incredibly late on a Saturday night, and I was like, I think it's going to end soon. And when it's 3:30 in the morning, and I know LED's going to wake up in 3 or 4 hours, I'm like,
are you talking
how
about
is this
Death
still
Stranding,
going?
Or...
I'm talking about Control.
Oh, okay.
There is sort of towards the end, isn't there? It's when you're trying to find the projector. And it's like, oh, it's in this place. Ah, no, no, it isn't. No, it's been moved. Ah, no, it's actually here. No, it's actually here. Like, fuck off.
Oh, fucking Mario Brothers did that, didn't they? Fucking hell.
They did.
In another fucking... okay, that's probably enough on Control. Should we move over to Matt?
Yeah, so I've it's been a busy week, but I only played one game, and I've been playing Lake, which is out on everything. I think I don't know who the developer is, but Lake is a really interesting game.
I only saw this for the first time in the week. I think Sean put the trailer up in the thing. It looks incredible.
Was this? Hang on, is this the delivery one?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
So I can't remember where I first saw this.
Are you talking about Death Stranding? Sorry, God, no.
I can't remember if there's like an event or something that showed off this, but or maybe it's an E3 thing. Anyway, I knew about this a while back, and then it came out last week or maybe the week before. It's not on Game Pass. It's a game you actually have to pay money for. So that was a shock instantly.
Forget it then.
But
that was pretty much what I did though, Sean. I'll be honest with you. I was like, I'm well up for this. Is it on Game Pass? James said, yes, it is. And then Matt had to step in and go.
Because I was sure it was on one of those showcases that Microsoft do, and on those it's almost like everything's on Game Pass. So I just assumed,
No.
Wow.
Okay. So then I saw that it was £16, and I was like, "Oh yeah, well we'll see." It's a tough month. It is a very tough month. God, what? So, what do you think?
So, it's a narrative game, very much like in a Life is Strange style. You are Meredith Weiss. You're like mid 40s woman who's got a busy job at. I think she's a computer programmer. It's set in the 80s as well, so 1985, 1986. She works in a big city. She's like overworked, overstressed. She's got like a pushy boss, and so she takes a 2-week holiday from her regular life, and she goes back to her hometown, called Providence Oaks. I think it's called that. Providence Oaks. She goes back there and basically does her dad's postman work because her mum and dad go away for a 2-week holiday. Meredith's like, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna have a time away from the city, and I'll just go back to my old town. Now,
which is weird, right? I don't know, because I played the demo of this, which is surprisingly long, and I am looking forward to playing the full game. But yeah, the fact she's just like, oh yeah, I can just sort of step in and do my dad's job for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Do you know what? I did that when I was a paper boy. My brother was giving up his paper round, and I was at the age where I needed a paper round. So I just walked into the shop and said, just to let you know, my brother's not doing the paper round anymore. And the newsagent was like, right. And they went, I'm doing it. And they went, okay then. And that's how I got my first paid job. So it does happen.
Yeah.
So did you go in wearing like a leather jacket? You're like, hey, new guy here. Who? Turner. No, David Turner. I'm doing the paper around 2 weeks.
Didn't even ask for an interview or ask for the job. I told him I was taking over my
no references or anything. Just,
Yeah. I knocked a little shelf of crisps over to sort of just threaten him and say, look, do you want protection?
Like, hey, look, I'll tell you what, I'll deliver the papers. You can be 14 quid a week. I lost the accent by the end of it. I wonder how much pay. I wonder how, well, one, our paper round's still going. Two, I wonder how much they pay now.
I mean, I went through a period there was a period in the early noughties where there was like 19 and 20-year-old men doing it, and I just thought, you're not supposed to be doing a paper round. That's for. I mean, maybe that's incredibly judgmental, but at the same time, that was supposed to be for kids that were being wildly abused for pennies of hours of work. Do you know what I mean?
It was hard work. I used to deliver the news shopper, and I got paid virtually nothing. It was like a whole morning's work.
But Christmas was good though, wasn't it?
Oh yeah,
you
the
knock
tips.
on the door,
Hello.
Yeah, Christmas Eve or whatever. Go, Merry Christmas from your paper boy. And they go, oh, there you go, mate.
Merry Christmas, Mrs. Smith. I can barely afford a turkey for the family this bloody Christmas.
Do I tell the story? I think I've told it before. I don't need to tell.
I don't think Miss Smith was listening.
I was a paper boy for when Princess Diana died, and it was horrible going to old people's houses delivering them the news. I just remember the old lady standing at her gate waiting for me to arrive and looking at me in the eye as I was coming. This is traumatic, man, because I must have been, God knows what, I was young. And she just went...
You were 19.
Yeah, she went, "Is she dead?" And I went, "Yeah." And I gave her the paper and she burst into tears. It was awful. Sorry, anyway, I don't know why that cropped into my mind.
Lake.
It's dark, isn't it?
Yeah. Anyway, Lake.
Lake.
So
Yeah.
I'll start by saying there's no Princess Diana mentions in this game because it's the set.
Okay.
In
Well, she was still
In that case, I'm
out
out.
and about, wasn't she?
But so basically, yeah, the premise is you're there for 2 weeks. That is the story. The story comes about by you going on your father's merry round and meeting the various residents of the town. There's actually the gameplay of this is day starts and then you literally walk to your mail van and you drive around. You drive around this small little. I mean, I don't know America much, but I'm going to say backwater American town.
What's
and
backwater mean?
I don't know, it's like one horse town.
Middle of nowhere. Yeah.
Middle America. Just whatever. But so you literally drive around. You have like a list of the parcels you have to deliver, and the post you have to deliver. For parcels, you have to get out of the van, go to the back of the van, find the right address, and then go to the door of the address you're delivering to. And then you might knock on. Maybe they'll be there. Maybe you'll have a conversation. Maybe you'll start saying, "Oh, okay, so hey, I'm back in town for a couple of weeks. I used to live here. My dad's away. Oh, and then did you used to do this? And I'm like, yeah, I used to do this. And okay, and then you'll go away, and then for the post, you just deliver the post, the mail, the letter into the post box. You don't get to meet anyone there, but and then basically you have a list of 5 or so parcels, 5 or so letters. You do that, go back to the post office in a day, and then that's it. But basically the story kind of comes about, just because. Every day you're meeting, a lot of the same people, or you're going to different people, or maybe you've delivered, you've spoke to someone a couple of times, and they're like, "Oh, actually, my cat's ill. Can you take my cat to this person over here?" And you're like, "Oh, yeah, go on then."
Standard video game.
A lot of these conversations, you have options. So you can be a total twat about it, or you can be really nice. In fact,
fuck your cat.
Well, no. So I haven't watched Limmy stream for ages, but apparently he's streaming this, and apparently he's being like an absolute idiot. So I can't wait to go back and watch what him being a total twat to everyone. I reckon this will be quite a funny game to stream because, Anyway,
okay, fine. But is the story interesting, or is it literally just busy work?
Well, so I'm finding it fantastic. Just doing the work, meeting people, kind of. Understanding a little bit about their life and just going along doing that. Like there isn't basically a big story that's appearing. There isn't.
Is the twist that every package is like Class A drugs?
And I'm wondering whether
you just get arrested.
I'm wondering whether the twist is that they're Microsoft reward points, and that's why Matt's really into this. It's just like doing busy work to just get points and stuff.
Well, actually, no. So this game has no edge whatsoever. I don't think there will be a twist that there was a murder, or actually you're doing this, or it's all like a dream. I think it's
really dark.
A really calm slice of life in Middle America where you're just delivering parcels. You're meeting people. You meet ex-friends. No, I don't think there is. And actually, I'm like really taken by the fact that I don't think there is a twist. I don't think there is a big story. I don't think there is a big oh my God, I can't believe that. I think it's literally just a nice story that's told in this way. It kind of actually kind of right.
You're just looking around and going, "You're right."
It feels like a Sunday afternoon movie on like a random channel, or like maybe a Christmas movie. Although I haven't said that. Most Christmas movies have a bit of an edge.
Though, Matt.
This has got nothing. What's that?
Do things happen in those movies?
I don't know. Things happen. It's just on a macro scale. So, like one of the people I delivered to, like this woman came to the front door and she was clearly playing with her children with something about Apollo 11, and then you're like, oh, hang on, it's you, and it was basically like Meredith, the person who plays, her old friend. Although I'm thinking like actually that I think that maybe I think it might be like an ex-partner. And it's like, oh, hey, it's you. And, I haven't seen you for 20 years. What are you doing now? Well, actually, I'm, with this person now. It's like, oh, wow, okay, this is, and it's really nice to...
This is weird. This sounds weird, man.
No, I don't want to give away too much away, but basically there's you meet people that I think, okay, you must have been partners or something previously, like 20 plus years ago. And it's really nice, actually. I'm not expecting a surprise. I'm just enjoying meeting these people, and the soundtrack's really good. Yeah, every time you go into the van, into the mail van, there's like I assume are like kind of like songs created just for this game.
Yeah.
I don't think they're famous songs, but even they're quite catchy. And I was thinking, man, there's five bloody tracks on this radio station, and then you meet the person who does like the radio show, and one of the options was like, man, you got 5 songs in a station. What the hell's happened? What the hell's up with you? But I felt a bit rude, so I didn't say that. And then the next option for him was like, yeah, there's hardly any songs on this station. I was like, I should have bloody said that, but I'm trying to be really nice and not be kind of, fucking hell, this station's gash. What are you doing?
Okay.
There's already been quite a lot of relationship opportunities with various people you meet, but again, I'm only there for 2 weeks. I did kiss someone, sure.
Nice.
And go for a drink with someone else, and everyone else is like, "Hey, lovebirds."
When your dad gets your paper, gets the mail round back. It's like, hello, did you miss me? Well, no, I've been getting off with your daughter.
You fuck off.
I'm actually furious that you're back.
There's the one guy I met.
I don't even need anything from Amazon, but I'm still ordering just in case she drops by again.
There's one guy I met who I think his wife must have died. He was definitely kind of implying that. And then he needs some help with some forms because someone's going to knock down some of the forest to build apartments. Yeah. And then I said, I'll be nice. Let's go to the cafe and I'll talk to you about his forms. We'll get sorted. And then the woman from the cafe is like, hey, you love birds. I want to say, fuck off. I'm just doing something nice with Roger or whatever his name is.
Being nice, mate. Yeah.
But yeah, it's totally calm. I hate I don't know why I hate this, but I hate the term cozy games. I'm not sure if you've seen people on Twitch or on Twitter. So hey, we're gonna settle down some cozy games. But this is the absolute definition of a cozy game. There's no edge to it whatsoever. I don't think there's going to be a spark of a story. I don't think there's going to be a twist. I don't think it's going to be a murder or anything. It's just literally going around in a lovely environment. It's an indie game, so there's obviously there's corners have been cut. It's not like the world's best looking game. The kind of the way you drive the car is kind of basic. You can't even smash the car up. Basically, you meet a mechanic.
It's not GTA.
And she's really into tinkering and fixing cars. I'm like, okay, clearly I can probably drive this truck into trees, and after a while she'll be like, hey, the van's fucked. I'll fix it for you. But no, I tried to drive straight into the lake. Nothing happens, sadly.
Unbelievable. That's this game's great, nothing happens. Also, I was desperate enough for an exciting event that I tried to fucking crash the van.
I'm driving on the right side of the road.
You try to jump
slowing down.
Things,
Yeah, well, I just thought, what are the boundaries of the game? And then I thought, no, I'm just going to be straight and narrow. I'm not going to speed. And then now I'm like, okay, if I hit that car, what happens? Nothing happens. If you try and run someone over, the car just slows down.
Fascinating.
So you can't actually do anything. But,
you can't actually do anything. Just
because there's no consequences for anything.
Which is good.
Matt, if there's no consequences at all for any of these things you're doing, doesn't that kind of break the illusion, though, of it being like this sort of
well, surely it'd be a bit weird if it was just this chill game where it's like, oh, by the way, but if you have a big collision with another car, it's like, you died, and so did the family of 4 you crashed into.
Yeah, but it's even
you get 3 stars when the police come after you.
It's even weirder if you're smashing into stuff and no one's saying anything. That's just odd.
No, it needs the opposite, as Sean mentioned, will be insane. What is that? Blood all over the mail van. Like, hey, I'm here to fix your cat. No, it has to be like this.
But yeah,
if anyone listens to this, is after.
Are you expecting Matt to come on next week and say, no, actually, everyone got murdered, and now I'm fully trying to piece the murder, guess who the murderer is?
That would be
because there is just from the demo, there seemed to be a bit of a sort of ongoing thing of, so Meredith's still getting hassled by her job, right? She's on leave for 2 weeks, but then she's still getting like calls from her boss being like, "Oh yeah, we just need you to do like look at these documents or whatever."
Yeah,
and you can choose whether or not to do it, can't you? And there seems to be this sort of like, oh, does she actually prefer just doing the mail round? But it was
it's totally that. Like, this is basically the Christmas movies, or the afternoon Sunday movies, or whatever, or daytime movies, where it's like it's the big shot in the city, and what's a Michael J. Fox? Is it Doc Hollywood or something? What's that Michael J. Fox movie where it's like a doctor crashes through like the white picket fence in like a one-horse town, and then does that ring a bell? I know it don't matter. I think it's Doc Hollywood. Don't matter. But this is exactly that kind of movie where it's like she's a big shot in the city and she's come to a small town. She'll hate it. Oh no, wait, hang on. She's fallen in love with that person. Actually, she does like
Cars.
But then,
that's Cars.
It is
that's
Cars.
The plot to Cars.
It is Cars. Yeah. But it's that.
Because I found. I mean, again, this is just in the demo, so I don't know how it plays out in the full game. I did find it a bit weird. Like the fact that so she's come from a big job in the city and she's come back to a quaint little town and she's just like, oh yeah, do you know what? Like being doing deliveries and stuff is just really chill and nice actually. Whereas I mean I don't think any people who actually work for Royal Mail or in the courier industry would really feel that's a fair assessment. Oh yeah, it's so brilliant. Someone who earns fucking 80 grand doing computer programs just sort of turns up and does my job for 2 weeks and like, oh actually this is better, isn't it?
Yeah, Brian.
It reminded me a bit
at number 46 has wanted this job for ages, but you've just strolled back and said, "Nope, my job."
Yeah, like
I'm a big city girl. It's my job now.
The Alan Partridge's Scissor Dial. You seen it?
Yes.
Yeah.
When
he works in the supermarket for a bit, and he's like, "Oh, actually, I'm brilliant at this." It reminded me of that a bit.
But I am right, lover. Yeah, come on. And he starts like chatting to him.
Yeah, exactly. felt a bit like that, which is unfair. But it just this idea that it's like, oh, actually, I'm sort of above this, but it's quite nice, isn't it?
She doesn't give off that.
Man,
that
I'm
vibe.
fully committed to the thought that this is actually a horror game. It's going to turn out of nowhere, and by the end of the year, Meredith is going to.
That's the thing. Yeah, you thought this was
Meredith's going to be the new DBD monster. I can see it happening.
You have as you meet people and doing all your standard deliveries, they'll say, "Hey, it'd be cool if you did this, or could you do this by that time," and so on and so forth. When you have a journal of tasks to do as well, we might say, "Hey, tonight you're meeting this person for drink, or you're doing this karaoke, or whatever it is." And but the trouble is, when you're in the middle of a conversation, you can't check your journal. And so I might have said, yeah, I'll do that, cool. And then you do some other deliveries, and someone's like, hey, do you want to meet up for a drink? And I'm like, oh, fuck, I can't remember if I agreed. To do a thing tonight. And then on one of the
That's
nights...
quite realistic, though. If someone comes up to you and says, do you want to do this on Saturday? You don't get your diary out, do you, and start going through it? Like, because that's a bit weird.
I don't live in Victorian times. Diary. No.
This is the 80s, though.
Well, yeah, exactly. But I was like, oh no, and then I agreed to help my boss with work. Yeah, I mean, I like that aspect. It's clearly like you're trying to get away from life, and yet your boss keeps ringing you about this like big multi-million dollar deal, and he's like, hey, would you mind looking at the paperwork? I'll post it to you, obviously because it was the 80s, and then you read it and you post it back. But he's doing it almost every day, and then I said, yeah, I'll probably do that, but I also agreed to go on like a date with someone else, this girl from the video shop. And
so is your boss money laundering then? Is that where the plot's going?
No, I don't. No, it's just the boss needs your help.
The boss of the mailroom needs your help.
No,
multi-million dollar.
No. This is your boss
home.
from your job in the city.
Yeah.
Where you're a computer programmer.
All right.
Yeah, but there's a night. I'm like, hang on, I think I've got both things to do, and I'm, what the hell am I going to do?
Do it yourself. I've got some parcels to
deliver. So I had to check the paperwork that evening, but I went out for a drink, and then the next day I got a phone call from them saying, "Hey, have you done the paperwork?" And I'm like, "Oh, I haven't done it yet." And he seemed annoyed with me, and I felt really, really bad. bad. And then another night, I'd also forgotten, like I'd also previously agreed to go out on like a karaoke or something. And then the woman with all the cats, she's like, I really need to go out and do things, but I need someone to look after my cats. And I had to say to her, I've got plans. And I felt dreadful because I've been trying to be so nice to everyone. But this is the first person I had to actually look down and say, look, I can't.
You can't feel dreadful about that.
Yeah, but she was like, well, I'll just go inside and rock a bit.
Like, for the first time, and them saying, I want to go out, can you look after all my cats?
Yeah, no, but I really enjoyed kind of meeting various people. There's clearly a lot of history with Meredith going back to her old town and meeting, former lovers, friends, people who knew her back then. And I really love that. And after the first in-day games, I'm like, okay, what's the story? Where's this happening? And realizing, hang on, no, there is no story. The story is meeting the people, and it's not, there's a murder to solve or here's a twist. I really, really surprisingly enjoying the fact that no, it's just a nice, relaxing game with none of that edge, none of that stuff that every other bit of media, every other movie, game, book, film, whatever, they all have like, well, actually, it's about this, or it's a topic about this, or it's like it looks about life. No, it's actually just like unfortunately, it's a cozy, relaxing game where you're learning about what it's like to go back to your old town for 2 weeks and see what Middle America's like.
Would you be furious then if it ended up that there was some big story or whatever that were going to be picked out from this?
I wouldn't be furious, but I would be disappointed because I feel like today I was thinking, why don't more games do this? Why don't more games basically
because it sounds incredibly dull.
No, but like every game has its edge or whatever, but like why isn't there like a market for like just essentially Sunday afternoon movies?
There is, Matt. They're called cozy games, and you seem dead against that idea.
There's loads of them as well now. I mean, do you remember there was that, what was it, during, not E3 or what they had, what was it called? They were called like Wholesome Games. They had like the whole Wholesome Games segment.
Animal Crossing.
Exactly, yeah. There's been loads of people bought stuff like that.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. But this, I guess because it's like set in the 80s and it's like very much like, hey, you're there for 2 weeks, you're back to your hometown. It feels very much like one of those movies with that it does exactly this. I'm like, I'm enjoying it. I mean, like I said, I haven't finished it. I'm right near the end of the second week, so I think I'm very close to the end. Who knows if there'll be a big twist and it was all a dream. And I wake up in like a mental hospital. I don't know. So I don't think so, and I will be disappointed if something suddenly flipped. And actually, I'm enjoying it more than I thought it would. It's basically like Life is Strange, but I like the fact that there is actually some gameplay where you're delivering the parcels and you're, driving around the big lake. I'm enjoying it.
Right, okay.
Does this seem like any of you... I would love to see one of you guys... I mean, I know you've played the demo, Sean, but I know we all enjoy Life is Strange. I'd love to see all of us play it and see what you think.
I need to stream it by the sounds of it. I've just got no money this month, so I think I might have to do...
I think... I mean, I've laughed out loud a few times when I might have done something incorrect or done the wrong thing, but you could definitely have a bit of fun with this on stream. And I'm looking forward to seeing what Limmy does. No doubt he'll destroy it.
Cool. All right. Should we get on to questions?
Yeah, as soon as hang on, let me turn my iPad back on because what a
it's
professional.
like me, it went to sleep. Is that what you're saying, Sean?
Professional. I mean, I didn't go to sleep, but I did mention to James before we started recording, I've been quite poorly this week, and I am lying on the sofa as we record this.
Do you remember when I tried that on stream once and then
Did it go bad?
the whole fucking microphone landed on my face?
Oh my god! Yes.
Good times. Good times.
Questions seamlessly into the questions section. If you want to contact us, go to tcgs.co/Dear TCGS. Corey says, hey everyone, after being slightly disappointed with 12 minutes after it absolutely shat the bed in the gameplay department, I went to check out Annapurna's movies. I watched Sorry to Bother You, which is the most batshit insane movie I've ever seen, but also weirdly recommendable to everyone I speak to. Have any of you guys checked out Annapurna's movies? And if so, what did you think of them? Have a great day. Absolutely love the show, and you guys make my week that much brighter. Cheers, Corey.
Cheers.
I haven't.
I have no idea that they did these, but maybe I'll have a look.
They were a film studio before.
First
game stuff. Yeah. But no, I haven't.
Nah. No.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of people kind of compare Annapurna or Annapurna Interactive to someone like A24, and I love A24, but no, I haven't seen Annapurna's movies.
Maybe we should.
Maybe one to check out.
Future talks over.
Sometimes the answer to a question can simply be
no.
no.
And then we move on to Joseph King. It says a couple of episodes ago, Matt called J.K. Rowling what sounded
Joe
like...
King.
Yeah, I wondered that. Called J.K. Rowling what sounded like a TERF. As I've not heard the term before, what does it mean and what is the context? So it was TERF, and it stands for Trans Exclusionary Radical Feminist, and it's basically, people who are sort of anti-trans, particularly in the case of people assigned male at birth and who've transitioned to being women because they think that it's a way for like men to get access to like women's public toilets and stuff, even though that's just not a thing. It's just basically an incredibly shitty and harmful mindset that unfortunately is quite prevalent.
Yeah, when they talk about like women's rights and stuff, that they purposefully exclude transgender women from that because they think it's different.
It's very shite.
They're fucks.
Sounds like
anyway. It's a shame, right? Because Elodie's obsessed with Harry Potter at the moment. I mean, we've listened to the first 3 books. She's got like the bedspread. She's got a little Harry Potter chibi like thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's obsessed with it. And it's kind of sad on the other side. You got that aspect of it. But.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like. It's not that you can't enjoy Harry Potter as a result, but yeah.
No, you can't.
It's just a shame, unfortunately, that J.K. Rowling has repeatedly, vocally voiced her support for this mindset, even though, like, was it basically like the entire cast of the films have all told her to shut up? But yeah, hey ho. Henge Brentforth says indeterminate number of lads. I spent 20 minutes at work yesterday trying to find these guys made it video to show a colleague to no avail. Not sure they'll talk to me again. When's the last time you couldn't find something on the internet, and how bloody annoyed were you?
These guys.
Oh my god! Have you never seen it?
I was trying to find the exactly same video about 3 weeks ago.
It, so I do know. Yeah, I do know it. But what's the context again?
It's just like
it's like an infomercial.
Join our WhatsApp group and we'll show you how to make a shitload of money.
That's it. Yeah. No. Oh yeah. God. Yeah. That's really good. Yeah.
I was trying to find the same video, and I was typing like Cami Toman or like community guys, community. I guess I didn't remember like the core like catchphrase, but I was trying to find for ages for some stupid reply, which in the end I gave up on. Yeah. So
it's fucking
my one's easy. My one's easy. I really want, if anyone knows where this is, please send it to me. I really want to find the original Kickstarter video for Polygon. Because,
oh my God,
do you remember that?
That would be so easy to find.
I've looked for it. I can't find it. I must admit, I haven't gone out of my way for it. But I really want to see that again because I remember that being so incredibly cringy that wasn't there a bit where one of the McElroy brothers was playing a guitar to his wife. You found it already? Can you put it in a group chat, please? Because I want to watch that tonight.
Oh, my favourite bit of that was the tattooing. That was great.
It's a really bad video. That
I found it. That took like 1 second, David.
Well, I googled like Polygon Kickstarter video and I couldn't find it.
It wasn't a Kickstarter because they didn't have a Kickstarter. They just like
that'd be that then.
Right, basically, it's the story of Polygon. That's why I couldn't find it.
The story of Polygon. And it's definitely that one where he gets the guitar out and stuff. Right, okay, cheers.
You are the worst at Googling. I just literally Googled Polygon. I know it's sponsored by IBM, but yeah, it's like, it wasn't a Kickstarter.
Okay, Matt, but we've just established, I thought it was a Kickstarter thing, so that's where I went wrong, and that's why I couldn't find it. So that was the problem there, wasn't it?
But just, original Polygon launch videos, search phrase, unbelievable. Yeah. I haven't watched that since that day, but that was a bad one. That was a bad one.
It was very bad.
Mine would have to be Amazing Boy Bob, a.k.a. RLB, a.k.a. Rob Loves Boobs. Have you guys ever seen this?
No.
Oh, my God. It's basically...
Why does Rob Loves Boobs... Why does that stick in my head? Maybe I have seen this.
So basically, it was this kid who, he looks about like 10 or something. And it's basically the most incredible like takedown of lad culture that you could ever possibly imagine. It's just this kid, he's wearing like this plaid shirt, he's like drawn this beard on his face. And he's just,
of course, I do know this.
Yeah, and he's just making up a song about getting pissed and pulling birds and stuff. It's fucking amazing. There's like a remix on YouTube, but it's not as good.
Oh, brilliant! Don't go to image search and search Rob Loves Boobs because that, fine.
Because
I mean,
because the best
jokes
part
on me
is, so
there.
he calls himself RLB, but like, and during the song at several points, he's going RLB, RLB, and for ages we thought he was shouting Oral B, as in the like, why does he keep shouting Oral-B? And then apparently, in one of the comments at one point, he clarified it's RLB, which stands for Rob Loves Boobs, and it was basically, so it wasn't him that uploaded it; it was like his sister's, it's like his older sister's account,
because he was doing this on I'm looking at videos of it now.
So basically, it's like, although it's shit that I can't watch it anymore, he's obviously made the decision he doesn't want them on the internet anymore. So fair enough.
They're on the internet.
You what? Sorry.
They're on the internet.
Oh, it's the originals, not like remixes of people.
Daily Motion. Yeah, I think they're on Daily Motion.
Fucking hell.
Still going. Listen.
You could get fish one up. We're gonna have a rave.
Gonna party.
I'm gonna smoke a beer.
I'm gonna smoke a beer.
It's fucking amazing, honestly. Like, I sort of, like I say, obviously he's well within his rights. Like, to, if he doesn't want them on the internet anymore, he's not comfortable with it, then he's absolutely within his rights to have it all pulled down. But I want him to know that it's legitimately amazing stuff.
I've just, James, you've not seen this, I assume. Go and have a look at the picture that I've just posted in the group chat.
I'll take a look, because I've never heard of this. This is completely new to me.
Remember, this is a young lad trying to take the piss out of lad culture.
So good.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah. What would I
when I first met Sam White, one of the things we bonded
was dressed
over
like that.
was RLB, and we met at EGX, and we saw each other from a distance, and we just start going, "Come on, babe, let's go to the club. I'll get the drinks in."
What is that on his face?
It's called a beard, mate.
He's drawn a beard with felt tip pens.
Completely real. So that's mine. Amazing Boy Bob.
Okay.
Absolute legend.
Cool.
Anyone else?
Well, just our same video. But speaking about people who make videos when they're younger and have to try and get removed. Every year I post the same video of this guy singing the "It's Christmas" song.
We listen to that every year, Matt. Thanks to you.
It's Christmas. Anyway, it's an amazing track. But I can't remember what that kid's called. But anyway,
Gotta be Andrew.
Got to be Andrew, of course. Got to be Andrew. He deleted his YouTube, tried to delete all the videos, but it's still
did
there.
He really?
Yeah, but Got to be Andrew is now an iOS developer, and it was a few years ago. And I'll tweet him saying saying it's Christmas. This video is still incredible. Obviously no response because he does not want to be remembered as the guy who did that. What some would call an embarrassing video, but for me, it's literally a Christmas tradition in my house and Facebook. And yeah, it's kind of sad how he wants to just totally distance himself from. Is genuinely one of my favourite Christmas songs of all time. Got to be Andrew. It's Christmas. What a track! And what a video! What a song!
Cool.
SMW's asked about predictions for the Sony E3 thing, but we've already sort of done that. So we'll end.
Should have been cut.
With Maria Mendieta, who says, "Dear TCGS Collector's Edition. Last week's nuanced discussion of the art design in Psychonauts 2 demonstrated how games with an unconventional look might put some players off. I especially remember this being the case when Dishonored received criticism for its characters, which looked eerily like the cast of Spitting Image. However, character models on the cloying side of this issue, like my boy Mr. Driller, seem to have also been rejected for their looks. With this in mind, if you had to design a TCGS Co mascot by committee, what would it look like? Keep doing the GamesMaster's work."
A mascot? Like, what are we talking? A mascot like a football team mascot?
Well, yeah, just like a character that is our character.
Yeah, but what we talk? Yeah, but I mean, it's a big difference if it's like just a piece of art or it's someone in a costume.
Well, surely it starts as a piece of art, and you then make a costume out of.
Costume.
Yeah.
Okay.
It can be both.
Right. But what I'm saying is that it's got to be somewhat grounded then. It can't just be a concept.
No, I don't think it has to be grounded. We'll make it work as a costume.
It's got to be a giraffe then, isn't it?
Well, because you like giraffes.
Yeah, just because you like giraffes.
Correct. Because I like giraffes.
Okay.
Sorry, is there a counter argument to that?
Yeah, no giraffe. A dead giraffe.
What the fuck?
How about that? Stick that up your pipe and smoke a beer.
Can it be a giraffe
What a
with
fucking
a
dickhead.
Can it be a giraffe
you.
with a little red panda hanging out on its neck?
What do you mean?
Looks like red pandas.
Sure.
Cool.
Sure, we could do that.
Yep. Does anyone else want to add an animal?
Well, I like beer, so let's have a giraffe drinking a beer.
Okay, drinking a beer. That's Matt's contribution.
Okay.
James, what do you like?
Can it be wearing like a lobster hat?
Sure.
Because you like lobster.
Yeah, why not?
A hat that's like a red hat with like a lobster. That's like a lobster.
Yeah.
So let me just get this straight. We've come up with a beer-drinking giraffe with a lobster hat and a red panda hanging around its neck.
Hang on. Can the lobster hat have the beer cans on the side with the straw?
Yeah,
now that is some top thinking.
It wraps it up in a massive bow, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That was surprisingly easy. Well done, guys.
It was, wasn't it?
I
So you get that
was
drawn
going to
and sent in.
suggest doing like a Patreon show of that, but then no need now. You know, it's
No, we solved it. What a boring Patreon show that would have been. 3 minutes long. Goodbye, everyone. See you next month. Could someone who's good at art draw that for us? A giraffe with a lobster beer hat and a red panda hanging around its neck.
Yeah.
That is the official mascot.
TCGS
But we
mascot.
need a name, and there's
Oh
only
my
one
God.
person that's going to be able to name it. James Farley.
it's Christoph.
Okay, that's fine. There's Crystal. The giraffe with a panda around its neck and
Panda
a
has no
beard
name.
lobster hat.
No, does the panda have a name?
No,
Okay.
only Christoph knows its name. It will only speak to Christoph.
It climbs up and
It
whispers
sort of
in his ear.
Climbs up his teeth.
Yeah.
Saying, what are we doing?
Yeah. The panda told him his name on the bus. And there you go.
Long running secret.
Okay, should we get onto the socials?
Yeah, there's actually socials this week because we're
Oh my
doing
goodness.
stuff on Twitch. This Thursday, so tomorrow if you're listening to this podcast when it comes out, we're going to talk over the Sony PlayStation 5 showcase. That's live from 9, so we'll probably be live from like 10 to 9, doing a little bit of pre-show chat and then talking over it. It's a 40-minute show, so probably done and wrapped up in bed by 10 p.m. So that is Thursday, starting at 10 to 9. On Friday, it's the long-awaited return of us on Twitch, starting with James Farley. This Friday, he's streaming Blinks the Time Sweeper live on Twitch from 9 p.m. Obviously, that's on twitch.tv/TCGS Go. Next Thursday is it's the start of another new series.
Hang on.
No.
Not next Thursday because I'm in Gran Canaria. But the
In which
Thursday
case,
after.
forget it. But it's something related to Sean Bell. Yeah, we'll go try and do a bit more streaming soon. I'll say a bit more. We're doing nothing at the moment, so more.
Yeah.
But it all really starts with James this Friday from 9 streaming Blinks the Time Sweeper. If you miss it live, go to a YouTube channel and you'll find it there. But also, hey, this is a perfect time to get those Amazon Prime subscriptions primed and ready to subscribe to us with your free monthly subscription. If you've got Amazon Prime, you've got Twitch Prime Gaming, of course. We really appreciate everyone over to us and our channel and subscribed when we're streaming. Fridays is the Dark Horse rerun. Every Friday morning, a new episode of... every Friday morning, the old episode rerun until April next year. I think we're on episode 7 or 8 now. I can't remember what's up to now. What's on
James
next?
has just hit a brick wall.
Oh,
He
of
faced the gargoyles.
Next
and
one
he
might
did
be
not like
bonfires. I'm not sure, but either way, that's still going on.
There's a proper dick to that. I don't know if you've heard it back, but James goes, "Yeah, I'm really struggling with the gargoyles. How many do you have to face at once?" And I just instinctively said, six come along at once. Oh, what, 6? I was like, no, I'm joking. There was only 2. Just completely pointless. That just to give him a little dig. That was it. That was all that was for. I'm not a very nice person.
No, it's true.
Yeah, the next episode is called Jolly Cooperation. So
There we go.
There's a tease for a show that went out actually about 5 years ago. We're on Patreon, as David mentioned, patreon.com/TCGS for exclusive podcasts, live talks overs, you name it. And tcgs.co is the website for everything else, including links to our gorgeous Patreon and Discord.
Sean, you're not here next week.
No, I'm going to be burning alive in another country.
Yeah, God, yeah. With your skin, bloody old Gran Canaria.
I haven't
More
bought
like-
I haven't bought any sunscreen yet.
Sean Bernier. Yeah? Does that work? I think that might work. Although Sean's not here, we are being joined by Ian Lee next week. I'm so excited. He's told me that he's literally been taking notes for the show. So
I'm pretty glad about that because I've not been on here. So
I'm pretty sure he's taking notes on this one as well, mate. Don't you worry about that. And we're recording that one.
James, don't be too smug, because simply by taking notes, you show more dedication than you have.
It's true. It's absolutely true.
I've just moved to a different country. I didn't have time. That's not fair.
No.
Sean, there are books in boxes that I can't be bothered to move. Yes, we're recording that this coming Sunday, so please get your questions in for Ian as soon as you can. How do you do that? It's tcgs.co/TCGS, isn't it?
That's the one.
Get down there, send your comments in, questions in for Ian, because that's going to be a very fun show. I'm looking forward to it. No offence, Sean. No offence, mate. No offence. Didn't mean that as an offence, Sean. Sorry about that, mate.
I'm sure you'd rather I was here as well.
Ooh, I'm not so sure about that. We will see you next week. Thank you so much for living it. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Sorry about the reverb. Goodbye.